Good morning. I'd like to welcome everybody to the August 15th board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask Mr. Slay for a word of prayer.
Let's pray. Lord, we do pause right here at the start of the meeting, and we thank you for being here with us today. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for the abundant blessings that you bestow on us as a community. Thank you, Lord, that you've given us a way to participate in our government. Father, thank you for these men, the sacrifices that they make, their willingness to serve their fellow man, the sacrifices that their families make. I pray, God, you'll give them the wisdom they need today so that when they make decisions, it'll be in keeping with your will. Father, I thank you for our servants that are out there every day protecting us. Father, the men and women who work in our ambulance service, our fire services, Lord, our law enforcement, our emergency operations, the folks that put themselves on the line every single day. Father, I pray for them and their safety. I pray that you will protect them. I pray that you'll bring them home safely with their families. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Looks like we got a good crowd this morning, and maybe even need a few more chairs, but I guess we got a full house. All right, public comments. Wiltz, is he gonna update us?
Yes, sir.
Come on up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Give us your name and address, sir.
Wills Petraeus and I live in IT in a basement. All right, just real quick this morning, I know we've discussed this at least once or twice over the last couple of years about this website, and happy to come before y'all today. We've got some really good progress going on. We've gotten a lot of stuff behind us, a lot of the groundwork has been laid, and we're finally actually at the implementation stage. So kind of moved it forward, and right now, what I know in front of y'all, I went ahead and put there's a couple of images going in there, what the new website's going to be looking like, totally new, very, very fresh look, a little bit cleaner, I believe, with a really our big emphasis on this has been, we've been analyzing how people are using the website right now to figure out where it is they're going most of the time, and figuring out what's the most used to make sure, basically in short, the ultimate goal of the website is once it's done, for a majority of those functions, nobody's gonna be more than 2 clicks away from being able to get to it. You know, it's like, how do I pay for a car tag? How do I pay my property taxes? How do I, so again, just really trying to shorten some of that process up for them, and I think we've really gotten there. Y'all got a couple of screenshots on that print out there that shows about what it's gonna be looking like. Probably what's the most common question I get is timeline. And so now that we've gotten through the foundation, now that we've figured out what we want and how we want to do it, now we have a timeline. The vendor has started on putting the actual website together, so they're recoding. I think one thing that might surprise a lot of people is there's over 740 pages to our website. So they're having to recode quite a bit. And what we're looking at right now is by October 16th, I should actually have a test website turned over to us, to the county, to go through all the different departments, to internally start testing it, making sure that it's going to work the way that we want it to work, making sure we don't want to adjust wording and adjust these different things, with an anticipated actual public go-live date of November 4th, which I also realize that's also Election Day. However, we set the timeline in there, and it's like I told him, if we can go a little bit earlier, I would love to have this site up and going before that Election Day. And if that can happen, we will work towards that, but as an absolute latest date we're looking at is November 4th to actually go live and have it presented. When you go to our web address, you'll actually get the new website.
Well, that sounds good. It looked like you took us serious and you're wanting to keep your job and get this done.
Yes, sir.
Right, I'm proud of that. Yeah. It's been a while coming, but yeah.
It has been a long while coming, and it's been a lot of little hiccups, but I think we've kind of gotten through them, and I think we got a much better plan. It's kind of like building a house. If you don't build a good foundation, we're not going to be able to do it. So.
Well, I hope it's gonna be good.
Hey,
It will be.
Wilts,
Yes, sir.
so if everyone, after we get all this on, say, 10, 16, and given to the public, latest 11/4,
Yes, sir.
if we need to make changes, is that something y'all can do here, or is the company that's,
Between both.
Okay.
You know, some of we don't
We have to tweak
specifically have a
something,
webmaster,
yeah.
but we can make some of the smaller tweaks and keeping the information fresh. And, you know, even on top of that, we're looking at one of the sections there I think is gonna be kind of interesting, our community events thing. I'm looking at trying to reach out to some of our community and getting it to where, you know, that's the biggest threat to a website is making it stale. If it just becomes stale and static, nobody's gonna wanna go there. So we've gotta keep current information. And,
that's right.
so we will be keeping some of that. And of course, we have the vendor behind us for some of the more higher end things. There's some other things we wanna do with the website, but, you know, first steps first is we need to go ahead and get it refreshed, and we can start building from there. But we'll be able to do some of the stuff in-house. Like I said, the minor tweaks.
Okay.
And then we have the vendor for the bigger stuff.
All right,
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
All right?
yeah, appreciate you.
Thanks, y'all.
Old businesses. Get minutes approval.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Consent agenda.
Mr. President,
Yes.
before you take up the consent, I'd like to go ahead and pull item E off of the consent agenda and add it to additional business later.
So I need a motion to move item E off the consent agenda and move it to additional business. That's what you're asking for?
Yes.
I'll make that
Go
motion.
ahead and ask to approve the consent without item E. You can just do that as one
Okay.
motion.
All right, I'll make that motion.
All right, Steve made a motion to approve the consent agenda without item E
I'll second it.
Oh, and move item E
Yes, sir.
to
to the
additional.
additional business. Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Mr. Slade.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. You guys set for hearing today and published in the newspaper a notice to receive public input on objections, those that made objections, filed objections pursuant to the statutes with respect to both real and personal property tax assessments that applies to their properties. And so today is the call for the actual attendance at a public hearing where those protests can be rendered final, made determined by this board. And so we'll start through that process. The first item under my section of this public hearing for protests on property tax assessments is United Rentals North America, Inc. This is a personal property objection. It's PPIN 12231. The representative is listed as Deloitte Tax LLP. I will open that public hearing and ask if there is anyone here on behalf of United Rentals North America, Inc. and or Deloitte Tax LLP to speak on this matter. Anyone here? Let me ask, gentlemen, if you'll bear with me. I notice that there's item 2 is the same taxpayer. It has to do with a separate PPIN, but it is an objection to personal property. So I will ask the same question: is anyone from United Rentals or Deloitte Tax here for PPIN 11890? Mr. President, it's obvious that no one is here on behalf of United Rentals North America for either item 1 or 2 under this section of our agenda for PPIN 12231 and 11890. Those are both personal property tax exemptions. We have a recommendation from the tax assessor on both of those for an assessed value of personal property for 12231 at $2,359,801, and for 11890, $142,861. My recommendation would be that you deny the objection and that you accept the tax assessor's valuation on both of those. Just need a motion to that effect for items 1 and 2.
Motion.
Second.
Steve made a motion. Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
Hey, on my list, that, 142,851.
Brad, what are you looking at?
This sheet
The sheet that was handed to us,
Did I say the wrong number?
I think you did.
You got the 2 million.
Yeah, the 142,851.
Okay.
Is for the second one.
Thank you, Brad. Whatever I said, I retract, and I insert 142,851 as the actual value for the personal property assessment as determined by our tax assessor.
Yeah.
Okay?
Everybody make a record of that, mistake on the lawyer. That's very uncommon. Yeah.
Thank you for saying so, Sid.
Yeah.
Now, we got a motion, we got a second.
All right, we got a motion, we had a second.
Man.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Sid, I'm glad my wife is not here to
That's
hear you
right.
say that. She would have objected. Item 3, gentlemen, is Sunset Marina at 43 LLC. This is real property. This is a real property objection that has been raised by the holder of the leasehold interest here. This is PRV leasehold property. So this is parcel K 16-42. Jeff Webb is representing himself, and I believe the LLC in this matter. So I saw Jeff. Jeff, you're welcome to come forward. We'll open that public hearing, and this is for item 3, Sunset Marina at 43 LLC. Jeff, I know you're also here on TWK Properties LLC. We'll take that matter up, so just hang with me when we get finished with Sunset Marina.
Just state your name and address for the record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Jeff Webb, 1930 East Franklin Street, Carthage, Mississippi. Apologize for my voice. My allergies been working on me this week. And if it's okay with you, Craig, there's 2 LLCs, but it's all the same property. Essentially, it's 2 separate numbers. One's called TWK, which is named after my children, Taylor, Wesley, and Katie. The other's Sunset Marina, but it's still the same property. So if it's okay, I'll just talk about them at one time.
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
And I've got just a little information. I won't take too long. May I
Yes,
pass this
please.
out? Or?
Please do. Jeff, do you have an extra copy for my clerk?
I do. This goes with the stuff that I had submitted
Okay.
before, but I do have this one.
Yep. Okay.
So my objection primarily is with the land value assessment, and as you guys well know, and that's on the first page of what I've provided you, the land is separated from improvements. So this property, when you put the 2 LLCs together, is 20.5 acres altogether. So when you combine those, it comes out to $3,134,570 as the appraised value by the county for not the improvements, but just the land. So that's kind of where I'm going on that. That comes out to $154,793 per acre for the land that's out there. This is a leasehold interest from PRV. It can only be used as a campground. I can't use it for anything else. It's restricted to what it is, as a campground. This is a little aside, there's the roads there are not public roads. I maintain those roads, but it can't be used for any other commercial development. It has to be a campground, but it's set out at $154,000 per acre.
How many campers are on site?
There's 132 RV pads.
132?
Yes, sir. Yes. And so the next part of the package is the sheet that's got some highlighted stuff on there. It shows,
Jeff, can I interrupt just a second, gentlemen, if you will allow me? Do you mind walking the board through, in addition to the RV pads, what other structures are on the property besides just RV pads?
Used to be a
for
boat
campers?
shop at one time, but
What,
it's a
just walk them
restaurant.
through what all is
yeah,
on the property.
there's the pads, there's 4 cabins, there's a building that has a small store, a laundry room, and a restroom, and then there's if you've ever been out there, then there's the old main building, I call it, which was built in the sixties. We now have a restaurant in the very front part of that. And I've, just a little background, I've owned it since 2000, been the leaseholder since 2013. And if y'all were familiar with the property, we hauled out 51 trailers out of there that were in kind of the little circle. It wouldn't drain. And the trailers were to such an extent that I think 6 were used by deer camps. We had to demolish the other ones. There were 17 houseboats floating out there that had been abandoned, so we demolished those. So we're real proud of how it looks. You know, we spent a lot of time, blood, sweat, and tears to get that place cleaned up, and it looks much better. It was pretty awful when we came by it.
Thank you. I apologize for interrupting.
No,
I wanted
no.
to get a clear picture
Yeah.
of the development that's there on that property.
And then the sheet that I've referenced for the other properties that are similar, that I think are similar, there's 2 in Rankin County that are campgrounds, and I won't name them, you know, I'm not here to point out anybody else's taxes. One has 98 RV pads and 18 cabins. And again, we're just talking about the land value primarily for me. But the land value on that one is appraised at what comes out to be $4,611. Well, mine's $154,000. The second one that's also in Rankin County has 121 pads, 45 cabins, and a lot of other amenities. And their average land value is $6,047. Mine is $154,000. Mine is 2,459% higher than that one. I found another one that's in Madison County that's listed here on this sheet. The land value for that one, which has 129 RV pads and 5 mini storage buildings, is $2,076 an acre. My appraised value is 7,356% higher than that. And I looked for this number 4 on the second page of that. It's in Biloxi. There's a little picture of that. It's on the Biloxi Bay. Just got online and found it. I don't know the owner or anything, but it's 214 RV pads, and its land value is set at $10,145. Again, mine's $154,000, which is 1,425% higher than that one on Biloxi Bay. There's another great park in Walthall County, and I'll admit on it, when you see that number, that is undervalued for the land property on that one. But anyway, it's much lower. It's $391 an acre for the land on that one. So with regard, this is a little aside. I also got the land out there is about 299 to 300 feet average or so elevation. So to use it really for anything other than a campground, it would take, I think you have to get it to 303 if I'm not mistaken. But I got somebody recently to give, not doing that, but just as part of this, an estimate to put that much dirt on this property was $3,200,000 to elevate this property. But I can't use it for anything else anyway. It's a campground, it has to be a campground.
And that's per PRV regulations, it has to be a campground.
Well, it's pursuant to their lease that I have with them. So
Right.
I won't say it's a regulation, and I've provided a copy of that, and it's public record, but it has to be used for campground property.
Right, and is the new campground that's near the boat landing across from Tommy's, is that part of yours too, or is that a separate deal altogether? Is that part of this or not?
I'm across from Tommy's, so.
Right, it's a
But it's a
brand
new-
new
brand new boat ramp.
boat ramp and.
Oh, no,
brand
sir,
new-
the PRV installed that boat ramp right across, that's
Right.
theirs, but I do join right up to it, and I tell you what, this will be,
With kind of a brand new campground that you've just built right there. With
Well,
new
yeah,
concrete
yes, sir.
pads and everything in the last year.
yes, sir. Yeah,
Right,
and
that's
this
all I
will-
need to know.
This will be kind of the last thing I've got here is that, on this document, if you get to that, and that shows exactly, what you were talking about.
Yeah, there's your boat ramp there. There's your boat.
Oh, I see it now, yes, I'm looking at it. Right, okay, got it.
So that is there's the boat ramp you're
This right
talking
here's got
about.
RV sites on it now, though.
And then this kind of the top part that's a little lighter colored, I think that's what you were speaking
Yeah,
of. And
that's
there
right.
are, pads there. I think we,
And they're included in that number you gave us earlier, though,
The
right?
132.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
132, yeah.
And I think we got 17 on that, I can't remember, but.
Sure.
So this land, this is 8 acres here, that's a little darker. It's on the water, just on the other side of the campground, and then this is the property I leased most recently, where the pads are. And then I didn't pay for this, it was done, and it is 8 months old. It was an appraisal of this land here, this 8 acres, which is very similar to the land on the other side of the boat ramp. Well, it was appraised by a professional commercial appraiser at $14,253 per acre. So that's kind of my request, I guess, if you gentlemen would consider that the land value for what I have, which is, so this land is appraised at $154,000 an acre. This land is appraised at $14,000 an acre. There's just I don't know how we got such a big disparity. That's what I'm asking you.
Wouldn't that change if you had concrete pads on it and sewer, water, and?
Well, that's what I was saying, that the assessment is divided to land value and improvements. So there's another category for the improvements that's added on.
I see.
So I'm focusing primarily on the land part. I understand, there are pads on that now, so that would be an improvement, and that should be assessed higher than just the bare land. But I think the assessment process starts with land value, and then you add the improvements to it, and then that's the total, and then your tax is based off of that. But that's a good question. I wanted to make sure I make that clear. So that's, and this is a kind of an aside, but this is not a conglomerate. This is a small business. My son works there full-time. The plan, God willing, is that he will be the owner of that business. He is, I'm from Lee County. He's from Lee County, but he's bought a lot in Rankin County and saving his money to build a house. So, which is just an aside, but this is not some, conglomerate nationwide park or anything. But we're just ask for your consideration and give it some thought, and hope you'll take that under advisement.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Just as a matter of housekeeping, would you like the documents that you provided to the board to review and a copy of my clerk, would you like those to be incorporated into the record of this hearing?
Yes, please. And then also the documents I'd sent previously.
Yes. I think your objection is of record regardless. It'll be a part of the proceeding, but formally, what you brought with you today, we're going to include it in the record. I just want to make sure that that is what you wanted done. Gentlemen, let me interact real quick with my assessor staff. So we do have, for purposes of the record, we do have some additional documentation that's being provided on this particular public hearing with respect to Sunset Marina. The documents that will be submitted for the record of this proceeding are the property record cards that are kept as a matter of routine business and operation of the assessor and the assessor staff and how they conduct their work. And it lays out the actual composition and structure of the appraisal that was done and the justifications for the valuation that was placed on this property with respect to the assessment. So that'll be a part of the record. We have a copy of a deed of trust for case 16-42. That particular piece of property is a commercial deed of trust that reflects that the principal amount of the deed of trust for TWK properties is in the amount of right at $500,000. And so that will be included for case 1642. There's another open deed of trust on case 1642 that's in the amount of $4,977,000. And that is for, I believe, is that TWK, Mark? Yeah, right. And so that deed of trust is an open deed of trust. There's a third open deed of trust of record for a 2.2 acre parcel that is also going to be submitted as a part of the record. There are, again, additional property record cards that are being submitted, and there are multiple copies. There's also two open deeds of trust for K1644-10. It appears that both of those pieces of property are also being collateralized by those same two deeds of trust. The point being that the open deeds of trust reflect that a bank has loaned money on these parcels to the tune of in excess of $5 million. And so that is an indication that somebody believes that the valuations of the properties support a debt obligation at that magnitude. We have requested of Mr. Webb, I was actually present in a meeting where the request was made for appraisals, actual appraisals of the property. What you've been provided is an appraisal of an adjoining piece of property that is, in the opinion of the assessor staff and the assessor, is not comparable. And so we do not have an appraisal of the actual property that is in question. And so it would be our recommendation that we the board align itself with the assessor's determination of value for this property, that we deny the objection, and that we allow whatever is going to happen after that to happen, but that would be our recommendation from the staff. So you guys have a number of options, and by the way, we're talking about both items 3 and 4. You're good with us taking both of those, is that right? Yep. All right, I just want to make sure. So it would be for both items 3 and 4, K16-42, K16-44-10, both of those. And so the recommendation would be to accept the assessor's determination of valuation for the real property and improvements as reflected.
I'd like to make a motion that we take it under advisement and let our staff review it, come back to us at the next meeting. Maybe they'll have an appraisal if the owner gives it, and be able to lay out to this board its case.
Yes.
And then you'll have a full record, and that's what my
Thank you.
motion is.
Yes. Mr. Gaines, if I may.
Oh, well, I was just letting them know.
We have a deadline.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll have to push back.
I would ask, Mr. Gaines, if you will, to allow for a technical amendment to your motion to set a date certain for that. We have a work session on August the 28th. If I might ask for your motion to be that we will table this matter and take it under advisement until August 28th.
Okay.
At 9 a.m. in this room. If you will allow that, we have deadlines by which the board has to make a decision on this. Yes. So that the appropriate reporting to the Department of Revenue can happen.
I think Stacy can probably review it and then give the board a dumbed down explanation of why these numbers are different, and hopefully we'll get a copy of the real appraisal.
Yes, sir. All right, so the decision would be, the motion would be to table this matter for consideration purposes
28.
until August the 28th at 9 a.m. in this room. You'll render a decision at that point, and then we can move forward from there. Is that your motion,
Yes,
Mr. Gaines?
And I'll second that motion.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
For the record,
Motion carries.
I am introducing into the record all of the documentation that I've referenced from the assessor's office. I'm going to hand this to the clerk to maintain possession of as a part of the record. And then on the 28th, we'll have a decision.
Okay, thank you.
Gentlemen, we'll move to item 5, Party Safari. This is a personal property objection for PPIN 13464. This particular objection relates to prior year assessments, 23, 24, and 25. There is an indication that someone named Ron Smith has indicated an intention to represent Party Safari at this proceeding. So I'm going to open that public hearing and ask if there's anyone from Party Safari or Ron Zach Smith present. Mr. President, I don't see anyone here on the Party Safari matter. It would be my intention at this stage to close that public hearing and to dictate that the record is whatever they filed in writing to stand up an objection, and then all of the information that the assessor staff has used to come up with a personal property valuation. We'll close that public hearing. This time it'd be appropriate to act on the Party Safari objection. Our recommendation would be to accept the assessor's determination of value of all the personal property.
I make a motion to accept it. Accept the, assessor's value.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
Where's that located at?
On Lakeland Drive,
Okay,
right there,
Yeah.
right there.
I don't shop there.
Near Hartfield, yeah.
Okay?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
In case I didn't close that hearing, it's closed. Item 6, gentlemen, we'll open a public hearing on the Brandon HMA LLC Merit Health Rankin. This is a personal property tax objection, PPIN 3772. The representative is Property Valuation Services, Thomas Tapco. We'll open that public hearing. I'll ask if there's anyone here from Brandon HMA LLC Merit Health Ranking or Property Valuation Services. Anybody here on that matter? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here on that matter. They have filed the written objection. That is of record. They filed that with the Chancery Clerk. My recommendation would be to close the public hearing and accept the recommendation of the tax assessor with respect to the personal property valuation for PPIN 3772.
That's my motion.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next item, gentlemen, is ROH LLC, Merit Health Women's Hospital. This is a personal property tax exemption, PPIN 3302. Again, Property Valuation Services, Thomas Tapco. I'm going to assume that.
Can we take 7 and 8 together?
Brad, if I may.
Okay.
I want to keep marching through. If somebody shows up, then I'm willing to lump them together, but if there's nobody here, I need to call it.
I got you.
I'm assuming Mr. Tapco is not here. Anyone here on behalf of ROH LLC? Okay. Mr. President, that public hearing is open. I would ask that the board reject the objection, accept the assessor's valuation on the PPIN 3302.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 8, gentlemen, we'll open the public hearing on River Oaks Hospital LLC. This is PPIN 966. This is a personal property objection. Again, Property Valuation Service, Thomas Tapco. Anyone here from River Oaks Hospital LLC? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here on behalf of River Oaks Hospital. At this time, I'll close that public hearing. It'd be appropriate to take action here. Our recommendation is to accept the assessor's value determination on the personal property for PPIN 966.
I'll make a motion to accept the assessor's.
Second. Brad made a motion, I second the motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Gentlemen, let me handle, if I may, with your permission, the next several are represented by the same outfit, O'Connor and Associates. Is Randy York present? Okay, gentlemen, for the next, all the way from 9 to 16, we're not going to take those at the same time. I've called for the representative and they're not here. So I'm just going to call.
They did get a notice to be here.
Yes, sir. I'm just going to call the actual names of the entities for whom the objections have been filed as we go through. We'll open a public hearing on item 9. This is real property D7C-1. I've already called for the representative. I'll ask if there's anyone here from French Properties LLC. Mr. President, I don't see anyone here. Same recommendation. We're gonna accept the assessor's valuation, and I just need a motion to that effect.
Yes, motion made.
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Gentlemen, the next item, I would allow anybody that wants to take a run at how to pronounce that to help themselves.
I was waiting to hear that.
That one's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna do my best. Is there anyone here from Akshar Purushotham LLC? Anyone here on that? Or however it's pronounced? Okay. Okay. Gentlemen, this is a real property objection on EAB-7-11. Same representative who's not present.
I'll make a motion to accept the assessor's evaluation.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 11, gentlemen, same thing. Open the public hearing, Pearl Days Enterprises LLC. This is a real property objection, E8E-12. We are is anyone here from Pearl Days Enterprises LLC? Okay. Mr. President, we would ask that we accept the assessor's value determination.
Make a motion.
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That hearing's closed. Item 12, open a public hearing on Parshottam, P-A-R-S-H-O-T-A-M Corporation. Anyone here from Parshottam Corporation? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here on that matter. We'll close that public hearing. Again, recommendation is to accept the assessor's value determination.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
I made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 13 is a public hearing on Pingree 2000 Real Estate Holdings. Anybody here from Pingree, P-I-N-G-R-E-E 2000 Real Estate Holdings? This is a real property objection, F10P-4-40. We would ask that the board accept the assessor's determination of value.
Make a motion to accept the assessor's
Second.
evaluation.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That public hearing is closed. Item 14 is a public hearing on Pramuk, P-R-A-M-U-K-H, Flowwood LLC. Anyone here from Pramuk Flowwood LLC? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here on that matter. This is a real property objection on parcel G11-8. We ask to accept the assessor's determination of value.
Motion.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Back to the same one, a different piece of property, same outfit. Pingree 2000 Real Estate Holdings. They were not present two items back. I assume they're not here. This is on parcel H9C-2-10. We would ask that you accept the assessor's determination of value.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 16, gentlemen, open a public hearing on Aksharnath, A-K-S-H-A-R-N-A-T-H LLC. Anyone here from that entity? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here on that matter either. This is a real property objection, J13-15-80. We would request to accept the assessor's determination of value.
Motion.
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Gentlemen, thank you for your attention. Thank you for your patience on that. Let me say how appreciative I am of our assessor and our assessor staff for all of the work that they do, how they go about their business, the efforts that they make to try to work with taxpayers and settle and resolve matters before they ever get here. And I just want to applaud them for their work. You can't imagine how many objections and conversations took place to whittle us down to the 16 that we dealt with. So I just wanted to give them public commendation for that. Thank you guys for all you do to help us.
Thank you. Ms. Stacy McNeach, our tax assessor.
How many did you have to whittle down?
Well, a few sheets, but,
Okay.
thankfully, my staff does work really hard,
We
reaching out to
appreciate
these
y'all.
taxpayers, and yeah,
Thank y'all.
a lot of time spent, so. All right, item A, requesting approval for petitions to adjust the 24 homestead exemption supplemental roll.
Motion approved.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Item B, requesting approval of petitions for change of assessment on 24 real and personal property assessments.
Make a motion.
Second.
Made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C, requesting approval of the application for fiscal year 25 and 26 for the authority to expend 1 mil according to section 27-39-239-2B Mississippi Code annotated as amended.
Explain that.
So this application is the application to retain that 1 mil that we,
Oh.
or the reassessment.
I make a motion.
We have to get approval each year.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item D, authorization to approve nonprofit tax exemption request application for 26 tax year for New Life Women's Home, Inc.
Where is this?
This one is, where is that? Oh gosh, I can't remember the address. It's on, it's not Lewis Wilson. I have it right here.
This isn't the same one we looked at one time before in a different location, maybe over Shiloh or somewhere.
No, this one, so this was the Teen Challenge, and they, let me see real quick. No, that's not in there. I'm sorry, I don't remember that address, Steve, but where's? Andrew Chapel, yeah, not Lewis Wilson, Andrew Chapel. I knew it was someone's name. But this is the Teen Challenge home, and so previously, they've owned this home for some time.
I know, okay, I know exactly where
Okay.
it's going, where it's at in the whole situation. All right.
There's been some reorganization on the
yeah.
corporate level, and so
Yeah.
they're having to request.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Stacy.
Tim Parker, County Engineer.
Tim,
Morning.
can I interrupt? I apologize. I need to interrupt real quick on item A. No, I want you up there. If I may ask, Steve, if you'll look with me on item B under Tim's, which is one lot, is that one gonna be less than 5 acres? Lot two, Soggy Bottom?
No, I think they're all greater than,
This is one lot we're looking at though.
yeah, this is an amended plat just to adjust
Right.
the property line.
Right.
It is 18 acres.
18
Yeah,
acres.
yeah.
I think that one's okay.
Yeah.
Item A, Canal Place, Part 2, which is PRB, those are
Yeah.
less than 5?
Yeah, they're small, they're
Yeah.
a quarter of an acre.
Oh, okay.
But this is PRB.
This-
and
That's
this is
PRB.
PRB, yeah. Steve, which one do we need to be cognizant of that? I don't see any action on any subdivision plats in Steve's district under your section, is that right?
That is-
Other than those
Other
two?
than those two, yes.
Yeah,
Where's Soggy Bottom?
Right there on.
Sand Hill Road.
Sand Hill Road, pretty much cut over and,
Yes, okay, got it.
Steve, I think we can act on everything that Tim's got. I think what you and
Okay.
I talked about
Okay.
earlier mustn't be something that's not yet before you for decision.
I think it's under public hearing.
It may be.
It is,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's gonna be.
All right.
Yeah.
I
Very
and
good. I
J.
interrupted Tim and I shouldn't
I
have.
and J.
Right.
Very good. Help me
Welcome.
remember when we get there that those
Yeah.
are the two we need to.
Okay.
Tim, you can go ahead and proceed
Mr.
now.
Slake handles C, D, E, and F. Okay, I'm good with that. And he's made his mistake for the month, so
Exactly.
earlier, so
Yeah.
he ought to
I'm
cruise
2
through
for 2.
these, yeah, that's right.
2 for 2 this morning.
Item A is Canal Place Part Two. That is a PRV development. We're recommending approval of the preliminary plat. It's a little bit unique in that, as you know, on the PRV developments, all the county has is maintenance on the road. And this is a road off of Lake Harbor. It'll be a new road off of Lake Harbor Road, and they're requesting it to be private. They're also not designing it to the county standards since it's a private road. And by that and it being on PRV lands, we're recommending approval of the preliminary plat, but we've talked about putting some conditions on this, simply because the county won't be involved in it at all, really, since the road doesn't meet the standards and it's gonna be private. So the conditions would be that the entrance has to be gated. Condition 2 would be it can't be labeled as a school bus turnaround. Condition 3 would be garbage pickup is at Lake Harbor Road or privately negotiated, nothing to the county. Condition 4 would be the road is labeled private on the final plat. Condition 5 on the plat would be some terminology basically stating that Rankin County accepts nothing on this plat for maintenance. Just so it's clear to everybody that this is PRV and it's a private street. The county has no,
I mean, lots.
Yeah, how many dwellings? were we talking about?
it's several.
I mean, 50, 100.
No, it's, let's see, it's 17, looks like.
17 home sites, if you will?
Yes,
So, sorry.
It's just a
I'm new to
dead-end
this.
cul-de-sac off of Lake Harbor Road.
Right, so I'm new to this, so 17 people buy those lots, PRV, put houses on them, and then that road gets torn all to pieces, and they come to this meeting and say, we want our road fixed.
Exactly.
Right, that's why we're putting it on the plat.
And then-
It's noticed to all the world from the plat.
That is
the
private.
County has no maintenance
Right,
responsibility whatsoever.
and it'll be up to the closing attorneys to make sure that they tell them that up front.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly
This, we almost have no authority to do
Right.
anything other than put these restrictions on it.
Right, that's all we can do.
It's
Right.
not, I mean, it's, PRV is just like a municipality.
Right.
And they do what they want to on their land.
Sure.
And then normally we take care of the roads and drainage of the roads and garbage pickup. But in this case, we won't have any of that. And, and it'll be gated. So, I don't think we have an alternative because they really don't have to come through us. I mean,
No,
it's-
no, I agree.
But we do get an opportunity to put these restrictions.
Put some
It's
restrictions.
just that road deal, right?
Oh,
That's the
it's
issue.
gonna,
right.
that
Yeah.
road, and you're exactly right.
It's gonna be
And-
torn up.
In
And
2
they
years.
they'll come here.
That's what I'm saying, and
Yep.
so, is there room for our Board of Supervisors, maybe not including this Board of Supervisors, at some point to say, okay, we'll take over your road and we'll bear that expense?
Our typical, the answer to your second question is no. Our typical way to handle that is to say, the minute that this road is brought up to county standards and inspected and found to be acceptable, we can then accept it.
Okay, got
But
it.
it's on some other party to expend the cost and to bring it up to our standards.
Right, okay.
And based on the size of these lots and the width of the road,
That's
they're
not-
looking at a 40-foot right of way and I think
not
9-foot
gonna happen.
lane, so I don't think there's physically would be room to bring it up to county standards.
What size homes?
There's nothing on there about the
It's
homes.
just gonna be trailers up there, I mean, not
I
trailers.
think there are some small homes.
Just, right there on the reservoir, right on the water.
Well, they're not on the water, but they're close.
Right, yeah, fishing,
Okay.
yeah.
What's gonna be your motion?
Approve it with all of these,
Conditions.
I second.
Steve made a motion to approve with the conditions. Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
With Craig's permission, I'll move to item B.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't let that go.
Goodness.
Lot 2, Soggy Bottom amended, we're recommending approval of the amended final plat. This is a District 4 property. This is one lot, we talked about it a little while ago, and it's just they had a discrepancy on a property line with the adjacent property owner, and this is just a survey to clean that up, and it's platted, so
Yep.
it has to be an amended plat.
okay, motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion. Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item C is on the demolition and disposal of asbestos at the former Brandon Cement Plant. We're ready to move forward with that project. It's been awarded. We've got the contracts ready. We're recommending authority for the board president to execute those contract documents.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion. Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And just for an update on that, if once the contractor's signed, we're gonna try to have a pre-construction conference next week. Contractor wants to go to work the following week, so if we can get all that to fall into place, that'll be moving forward. Item D, Mr. President, is an ARPA project, program element 1.64. That's the Williams Road Bridge. We're recommending final payment in the amount of $699,701.92 under purchase order 243453 to Hemphill Construction Company and authority to issue the check. It's a District 1 project.
I make a motion.
Second.
Made a motion. Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
So it is open.
It is open. Mr. Gunn, is everybody satisfied?
We are satisfied.
Okay,
Amen.
We have Mayor Gunn here from Florence sitting in today. Thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item E, Mr. President, is on the Watershed Protection Program Element 2.02. That's Pine Brook Subdivision Drainage Project. We're recommending approval of contract change order number 2 from Southeastern Pipeline and Environmental for an increase of $536,318.92. And you can see the authorization is based on those items listed. This change order has a couple of small items in it, an inlet and some fencing. But the main gist of this change order is the roads, the construction caused the roads to fall apart. Then we moved in, they moved in to try to do the paving where it wasn't, we didn't think it was quite as bad, and the milling machine was milling around the curbs, and those roads fell into it. There's subgrades, all clay. It's terrible. It's just an old subdivision that was built that way years ago. So you've got quite a bit of tonnage of 610. Of course, you got to excavate it first, then you got to put 610 in it, then you got to bring in full depth asphalt, and that's where we are. 536,318.92, and we're recommending approval of that change.
Yeah, that does not look like a small change order.
No.
That's correct.
No, we
Right.
talked
I
about
thought I heard you say a small change order.
I may have said that.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
it. He said there was a few small things in it and one big thing.
Right.
We talked
Yeah.
about the small things quickly.
Yeah.
I make a motion.
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Tim,
Motion
that's
carried.
an ARPA project?
Yes, sir.
So the cost this is small salve for the wound, but that cost obviously will be included in the request for reimbursement that will be made, just like all of our other ARPA projects. And so we're gonna do what we can to try to recover that cost out of the state's grant to us under the MCWI program.
Item F, Mr. President, is on the same project. It's approval of payout number 11 for Southeastern Pipeline Environmental in the amount of $881,085 and authority to issue that check.
Make a motion.
Second.
Dr. McLeod made a motion. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
This is also ARPA.
Yes,
Yeah, that's right.
correct.
That was the original project, right?
Yeah.
This-
Yes, sir, this is just a pay request on the same project, we just did the change order on.
Right, that we'd already done, yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Parker.
Gentlemen, I am looking at our intention to set public hearings. If I could get a motion on A, B, and C to set those public hearings for August the 28th at 9 a.m., please.
I'll make a motion to set A, B, and C, August 28th.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'd like to get a motion to set items D and E for hearing on September 2 at 9 a.m.
Motion.
Steve made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Gentlemen, we've got a number of public hearings. The first is item F, a public hearing on the Southern Environmental Group conditional use permit. This is at Mount Helm Road, it's District 4 property. I am opening that public hearing. Southern Environmental Group is seeking a conditional use permit to expand the current existing Class 1 rubbish disposal facility that is located at 495 Mount Helm Road. The proposed expansion will consist of a 96-acre extension. Specifically, Tract 1 is located to the east of and adjacent to the current site. Tract 2 lies to the west and is also adjacent to the existing property. In conjunction with the request, Southern Environmental Group is proposing to amend the local solid waste management plan to incorporate both tracts. They measure 125 acres and 51.28 acres, and they would be included into the current Class 1 facility. Please note that while the property includes areas designated as special flood hazard zones, these areas will not be used for any of the disposal activities. We have received no calls in opposition. That public hearing is open. I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Southern Environmental Group conditional use permit request. Is there anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? Gentlemen, I noticed that the representative from Southern Environmental Group is with us. Unless you have questions, it would be appropriate to close that public hearing and take action.
I got one question.
Yes, sir.
So will all that traffic be on Mount Helm Road?
Same.
Same as it's been for 15 years?
Just expanding it.
Folks can't get a break, can they?
Well, if we had another spot,
Yeah.
you know, but nobody else in the county
Oh, I
wants it.
agree.
No one wants it, so I think it's bad, but it's good to have it in one place.
That's true. Okay.
And the operator works really good with our road manager.
Can you let the public know what Class 1?
Yes, sir. That's generally, it's no organic waste. I don't want to get way out over my skis here, but it's mostly construction materials. Yeah, but
It's not
no
garbage.
organic waste.
No organic waste,
Yeah.
food waste.
Yeah. So the stuff that would be the most noxious from a smell standpoint is not supposed to be dumped there. This is a Class 1. What I'm describing would be a Class 2.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion to approve, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Daydream.
Yeah.
For the record, that public hearing is closed. Next item is item G. This will be a conditional use permit for Highway 25. This is District 4. This is the Neal property. Steve, I think we're good to move forward on this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. We'll open that public hearing. Neal property is requesting a conditional use permit to construct and operate a retail store on Highway 25. The proposed facility will specialize in the sale of feed and farm supplies and will include both a storefront and an adjacent warehouse. The business will offer a wide range of products that includes retail feed, farm supplies, home and lawn products, and pet supplies, farm equipment, fence materials, and grading equipment. The subject property consists of 109.09 acres. It's currently zoned A2. The request is to make the zoning effective C3. That is, the request is being made. So this is a conditional use permit, but it's also a zoning change.
Well, it's a C3 use.
Oh, I
in
see.
the A2
It's
zone.
condition, we want to leave it as A2, and it will be,
that's right.
I misread it.
Conditional use.
Thank you, Steve. Yes,
Yep.
that's correct. Y'all will understand, we're not rezoning, this is a conditional use.
Yep.
Keep it A2, allow for a utilization of the property by conditional use so that it could be used as if it were C3. I hope that makes sense. All right. We have not received any calls in opposition on that matter. We do have one item that we would suggest as a proposed condition, but let me ask first, is there anyone here to speak on the Neal property conditional use permit in opposition? Is there anyone here to speak on that matter? Okay. Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak on that matter. Steve, let me relate the one condition that is being proposed by the staff. We would prohibit open storage in front yards and along street frontage. Locate outdoor storage to the side or rear yards only with proper screening. So that would be the one condition that we would suggest.
We talked about a fence on the exterior where it's locked when he's closed.
Yes, sir.
And I think he agreed with that. That would be necessary because of some of the outside storage stuff would probably not be there long.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So would that be your motion to approve
Yes.
with that condition, Steve?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That public hearing is closed. The next item, gentlemen, item H, is a public hearing on the Clifton Brown rezoning request. This is Shell Oil and Star Road. This is a District 3 property. Mr. Brown is requesting to rezone 6 acres out of a 139.92 acre parcel from A1 to RE1A. The proposal includes dividing the property into 4 2-acre lots. The lots will have full frontage on Shell Oil Road. The intent of the rezoning is to allow Mr. Brown to sell 3 out of those lots that front on Shell Oil Road to generate enough funds to purchase a new manufactured home for placement on the Star Road lot. We've received no calls in opposition. So I'll ask if there is anyone here to speak in opposition to the Clifton Brown rezoning request. Anyone here to speak in opposition on that matter? If you'll please come forward and give your name and address.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Shelton Allison, and we own 40 acres. Allison, Robertson, Duplessis, and we don't.
What's your address, sir?
I live in Jackson.
Okay.
I own property. I got.
But you have an address. I mean, it's for our record. Everybody has.
Oh, okay.
It's just for the records.
We have to have a name and address.
Okay. Shelton Allison Senior, 2021 Marshall Place, Jackson, Mississippi, 39213.
Great.
Thank you.
The 40 acres that are your family owns,
Right,
where's that
this is family.
located at?
Right.
Where's that located in relevance to this property?
I think his property on the other side of the road, close to the end of our, that, yeah.
Shell Oil and where it
Yeah,
comes out
Shell Oil,
on
right.
Star Brandon Road.
Albert, yes, right.
So you'd be across the road
Cross,
from this.
right.
So what's the objection to?
Well, my objection is that if you rezone it to residential, the tax is going up.
No, sir.
Is taxing not going up?
Not on your property. Your property's not being rezoned.
Oh, okay. I thought
It's specific to the
Just
109
doing
acres.
those, just that Just that part that.
Just that part,
Just that part there.
but ours will not be rezoned.
No,
No,
sir.
Right, unless you want it, you know,
Oh,
you're not
okay.
asking.
Well, I apologize.
No, it's okay,
That's fine.
absolutely, read your hand, absolutely.
I thought ours was gonna be
And the
rezoned, but
taxes-
everything is okay.
The taxes don't go up unless you
Put a
something-
structure on it.
structure
Oh, right.
on the
But it
property.
still
Right.
has nothing to do with yours.
Oh, okay.
Right, yours will stay the same.
Oh, all right.
Which is
So
allowing
we're
that
good.
guy
Okay.
You good,
Okay,
right?
thank you.
to, okay, excellent.
Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Johnny Ford, come to speak on behalf of Jerusalem Baptist Church. We are coming off Star Road.
Johnny, you didn't give us your address.
446 Jerusalem Church Road.
Thank you.
So we were asking a couple questions. What would the traffic look like coming in there? What, I know he's selling for commercial to the bottom line coming off Star Road. We just needed to know what his idea, what kind of structures are coming in.
None of that's gonna be that property is across the road, but there, from what I remember, there's already some homes right across the church.
Correct.
This is gonna be toward the Star Brandon Road,
Right. Which
Shell
is
Oil
adjacent to
Road.
some of the land that we have on the backside of, correct?
That's right.
Right. So we just need to know what the traffic's gonna look like, what the impact of the area is gonna look like from the church.
We talking about just 3 homes.
Okay.
So, I mean, there'd probably be maybe 2 houses, 2, 3 cars to a house. I don't know. I mean,
Minimal impact from a traffic standpoint, minimal. There may be some traffic on the front end to get things built, so it's a little bit of extra construction traffic of some type. But my anticipation would be it'd be minimal.
their driveways will be coming out on Shell Oil and Star Brandon Road.
Okay.
Won't be coming out on Jerusalem.
Okay, all right. 'Cause we know when that start, a lot of heavy equipment will be coming up there,
Probably
just
so.
trying to see what's going on
Yeah.
with
Right.
that in the
But
future.
we paved that road last year, didn't
Yeah,
we?
hey.
Looks
yes,
good,
sir.
don't it?
And we need some more signs up too, tell them slow down.
All
Hey,
right.
but
Thank
he
y'all.
said something about commercial, that's not, we're not.
No,
No, no,
It's
no,
not
no,
gonna
no,
be
no.
commercial, right?
Yeah,
No,
all
okay.
residential.
Yeah,
Like
right.
us.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay, thank y'all.
All right.
Thank you, Johnny.
David Robinson. I live at 2308 Star Road,
Okay,
which is College Street turns into Star Road once you cross 18.
okay.
You mentioned the driveways will come out on which side of the road?
I think there's 3 being
3 on
proposed to
Shell
come out
Oil.
on Shell Oil Road down there toward the,
So it's going back west.
yes, going toward Star Brandon Road.
Okay, nothing on Shell Oil Road directly in front of where my property is, is that correct?
Well, there'll be 3 coming out on, my understanding, Shell Oil Road and 1 on Star Road, is that correct? Be
That's
3
what we were told.
Right, there'll be
Yes.
3 driveways come out on Shell Oil Road, and 1 driveway will come out on Star Brandon Road.
If you give me your address, let me pull up your address.
2308 Star Road.
2308. All right, so the 2308, you are on Star Road and you're
Right.
out by Singleton Lane.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there might be one driveway coming in across from Singleton Lane. I'm not 100% sure, but most years, the driveways that I'm aware of is coming out there on the corner of Shell Oil Road that will access the Shell Oil to get to Star or go back the other way.
Okay, so you're talking about north of them?
Yes.
That's correct.
So,
It's not going to impact your driveway or anything directly across from you.
This Star Road is heavy traffic now as it is.
I know.
People cutting through from 80 and 18 going to 49 and.
Well, that is a state highway. No,
No,
state
no.
aid road.
Right.
State aid road,
all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Hi, my name is Zenobia Richardson, formerly Hart, and I'm Ira Singleton's daughter.
Okay.
My property address is at 148 Singleton Lane, and my actual address is 5529 Wind Trace Road in Crestview, Florida. I came all the way from there to here. I'm a
Appreciate
U.S.
to have you.
Pardon?
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you very much. It's home for me though still. Yes, sir. And mentioning that one of the driveways could possibly come out right at Singleton Lane, I'm just trying to, I would like to find out more information on what the future plans are for the land across the road from Star Road is. I understand One side is Brandon, one side is Florence. But in the future plans that you were speaking of today, that was mentioned that one driveway may possibly come out at Singleton Lane. I'm looking at the traffic flow. How would that impact our side of the street as cars are already flying by coming out of there?
We don't have any proposed development. This is 140-something acre tract that
Yes.
somebody's
No
just.
future development plans on that?
No, there's not any current that we're aware of or anybody has brought to our attention.
That's good to know.
Right.
Yes, but that driveway that was mentioned, is that?
I'm not 100% sure. Brian might can
It's
show
not, it's
you.
on further down. I can show
Okay.
you on the map.
Thank you, just want to clarify
Okay.
that.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else to speak in opposition to the Clifton Brown rezoning request?
Gentlemen, I don't see anyone else to speak in opposition. Unless you have questions of the applicant, you are able and justified to rezone property upon a showing of either that there was an error in the original zoning, which is not present here, or that there has been such a change in the character and the conditions of the area where the subject property is located that it justifies consideration of a rezoning. RE1A is our transitional zone that we use to bridge between rural agricultural uses and more intense residential uses. It's an in-between classification. It seems to be appropriate in an area like this that is going to be transitioning from rural to some residential, and it is designed to accommodate larger lots typically and less intense development activity. Okay, so it seems like the right fit. There is at least some demonstration that there's been a change to justify rezoning. The second piece of that puzzle is that there is a demonstrated need for the rezoning to provide for additional property as the requested zoning would provide. And so in order to accommodate more housing and more some limited development for the purpose of providing home sites, there's at least a demonstrated need for that in our community and in this area. So you would be justified, if you choose to do so, to rezone.
But we're just talking about that.
We're just talking
Right.
about the specific property is,
The four lots.
is the lots that are being proposed. So we would need a motion to grant the requested rezoning and to effect that. I don't know that there were any conditions. In fact, I'm confident of that.
I'll make a motion to go forward with the rezoning.
I second that. Brad made a motion. I second that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Gentlemen, items I and J, which are public hearings that have been noticed for today, I would ask for permission to move those two items to between item L and item M under my section, because item L could meaningfully impact your consideration of items I and J.
Okay.
So we need a motion on,
No, sir. I'm going to pass over items I and J and move to item K, and then we'll come back and pick up with items I and J right after we get finished talking about item L.
okay.
So item K, gentlemen, will be your action to consider the adoption of a resolution that documents this board's final decision on the Emma Boone conditional use application. You'll recall that at your prior meeting, you conducted a public hearing on the Emma Boone conditional use application. This was for the purpose of placing some sort of mental health use on property that is owned by New Hope Missionary Baptist Church on Highway 469. It's got a Florence address, but it's I think it's got a Pearl address, but it's on the way to, it's in between Brandon and Florence. And so the board took that matter under advisement, and you announced in the hearing that you would make your decision today and you gave all the public notice to be here today that has an interest in that matter, so that you could render your decision. Mr. Scarborough, I believe you have a motion that would encapsulate the decision of the board that you would like to read.
I make a motion to deny the application for zoning action, special use expectation filed by Emma Boone, seeking to establish a behavioral health facility on the property owned by New Hope Missionary Baptist Church, 935 Highway 469, Pearl, Mississippi. I also move to adopt a resolution denying the application for zoning action, special use expectation, filed by Emma Boone, which sets forth all the board's justifications for denying the conditional use application.
That'd be your motion, Mr. Scarborough.
That's my motion.
Right. Just need a second to that.
Second.
I made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Gentlemen, I have a
Motion carried.
5-page resolution that documents the board's findings on that matter, and I'm going to present that, and I would ask for a motion to be added, Sid, if you will, I would like for the board president to be authorized to execute that resolution. You have adopted it, and so I'm asking for Sid to have the authority to execute that. So if I can get a motion to authorize Sid to execute the resolution.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Brad made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
And your resolution has already been stood up to be a part of the record of that proceeding, and so this resolution will enter into the record of that proceeding, and that matter is officially over. Item L, gentlemen. Item L under my section, gentlemen, is consideration of and potential action to extend this board's moratorium on the subdividing of real property into lot sizes that are less than 5 acres that is applicable to Supervisor District 4. Your current moratorium was adopted on February the 14th of 2025, and it extended for a period of 6 months. And so this action would be to extend the moratorium that is already in place and will expire tomorrow for an additional 6 months from August the 15th, 2025. So it'd be a 6-month extension. That's the matter that is before you. It is a potential action item, so I would like for you guys to enter into a discussion, if you need to, about this action, potential action to extend the moratorium, and we'll go from there.
Well, I think where we're at is better than before we had the moratorium. We're getting a better look at everything, and if it's less than 5 acres, it really needs to be looked at very close.
Yep.
We've got where a person can build on 10 acres and not change the zoning if it meets certain requirements, has road frontage and stuff like that, that 1 house per 10 acres. This would allow 5-acre tracts, but it has to change the zoning. And we've got a lot of work done, Tim and Mike, with our stormwater studies, and then the infrastructure, our water associations. I think that another 6 months, I mean, I would either go with it the way it is right now, what I'm just saying, or give it another 6 months to adjust it if I need to.
So Stephen, when we were considering the application of a moratorium for any potential subdividing activity that would result in a lot of less than 5 acres, when we initially did that back in February.
3 different main points, really. Stormwater.
Yes.
In our area, there's a lot of flat ground and a lot of water. I mean, stormwater is a big issue, so we have to have a water study, and we have to be able to take care of that fast water that comes off of rooftops and driveways. It speeds up. It's just common sense that one house on 5 acres is not gonna cause the runoff as much as 10 houses on 5 acres, or 5 houses on 5 acres. So the stormwater is the first. The second is infrastructure. Everybody here that got up and talked today spoke about which way is the traffic gonna go, which way this and that. I don't wanna look in my rearview mirror and see, I don't wanna call it a road because people get mad at me, but Old Fannin out at Pisgah or Pelahatchie or Shiloh. Then the third is schools. And I have been having some conversations with our school people. They know it and they've got to prepare it. But it takes years to build another school. And we're already in portable units. So I want to extend it another 6 months, and then we'll look at, when we get there. I promise it won't be extended again.
We need additional time in order to evaluate the type of infrastructure shortfalls and how those can be addressed. We need to continue our discussions with the school district to make sure that they have a plan going forward to account for the growth in that community. And we definitely want to get on top of our stormwater management, right?
Yes, sir. Exactly. And this area is agriculture.
Yes, sir.
There's the most row crop in Rankin County is right here.
That's right.
And these guys put out fertilizer. Sometimes it's chicken litter. They spray with planes. They go down the road with the combine, cotton picker, tractor and disc. That's the way it's been out there forever. And a lot of congestion and traffic. The two don't mix. So what we lose are our farmers. What we gain is people that want to move to a new spot. We can handle a few, but we can't handle all of them.
You're not saying a farmer out there wants to give his child or something
Oh, you can.
acres to build a house.
That's, any landowner can sell or give whatever he wants to whoever he wants to. This is restricting the developers. The developers are who we're talking to.
Right. Okay. Any other discussion, gentlemen,
So
on that matter?
you're saying for another 6 months,
It needs to be 5 acres.
5 acres. So when you roll back to I and J that we was talking about earlier,
Yep.
so you're gonna,
5 acre. They'll have to redraw those to 5 acres.
Or wait.
That's right. Or wait until we
Or wait.
have an
Or wait
actual
another 6 months and see.
action item on our zoning and planning.
What size lots are they?
3.
they were 3.
Is that right, Brian?
Yes, these are 3 acre lots that are being proposed.
These, I think, the ones we're looking at, you could about lose 1 lot and make it to where it'd probably be about 5 acres on each one of those.
Yes, sir.
So,
But there is some drainage, issues on one of them. I know there's a creek that runs through it that would have really, that would be our water study.
Well, right now, we're on L.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Oh, back up. Okay, well, we're addressing
We're addressing whether or not to extend
Okay.
the existing moratorium before it expires.
Well, what we did, we skipped over I and J and then went to L
Right.
Right.
before.
That's right.
We need to vote on L before we do anything else.
Right, well, in my opinion, we should address I and J.
Well, they would fall under the 5 acre
Right.
thing now, so they'd be turned down.
Right.
My hope was to indicate through discussing item L that this is a temporary extension.
Right, for 6 months.
So,
If we had to do the action today, under the moratorium that's there, there's no way I could do anything other than turn them down.
that's correct. Yep. Steve, are you making a motion to extend the moratorium
Yes,
for a
sir.
period of 6 months?
Yes.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded the motion. Any further discussion? I just don't, I mean, I thought we, the first time that we was going to, do the 6 months, but it was gonna be over, this time.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. So now we're, saying we're gonna extend it another 6 months. I mean, I'm not in favor for it. I mean, I got people here that's trying to buy property and sell, that they were under the impression that they were good to
Yeah,
go.
I know, I realize that. One of the owners has talked to me, and they're wanting to sell ladies in a nursing home. And this is her money, I mean, this is her bank. And this is it's gonna hold her up unless they change the plat and they make them 5-acre lots. And they'd have to really lose one lot, and I would negotiate that one. Lose one lot on each one of them and make them as close to 5 acres as it can be.
The moratorium is not prohibitory in terms of your being able to make a decision. This board retains the discretion to entertain any matter that someone desires to bring before the board. The existence of the moratorium protects us from having to take it under consideration. This board wants to, you can.
Even with a moratorium?
Yes, sir.
So we can
You
still,
have the authority to lift your moratorium for considerations that are necessary. Think about it, Jay. You put a moratorium in place and we need a 1-acre spot in Steve's district for a volunteer fire department.
so we can lift it for I and J. Just for-
Assuming that this board is satisfied that whatever the amendments to those proposals is acceptable. Yes, sir.
3 acres.
All right, we'll see where they stand on it here in just a few minutes then.
You got it. All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
I vote no, but, okay,
That's 2.
okay. 2 voted nay and 3 ayes. All right,
So now, gentlemen, we'll pick up I and J. And for the record, we will open the public hearing on the Brandon McKay rezoning request. This is at Highway 41, Harold Road, this is District 4. So that item, the rezoning, is a necessary precondition to item J. So keep that in mind. Your action on item I, whatever that ends up being, will impact necessarily whether or not there is a discussion of item J at all. So, under item I, public hearing on the Brandon McKay rezoning request, Highway 481, Harold Road. Let me read what the application is for that particular rezoning. Brandon McKay is requesting to rezone 26 acres located on the corner of Highway 481 and Harold Road from A2 to RE1. The applicant is proposing an 8-lot residential development with each lot having a minimum size of 3 acres. Lots 1 through 4 front on Highway 481. Lots 5 through 8 front on Harold Road. The Office of Community Development has received a number of calls in opposition, and 2 on the Harold Road and Highway 481 in particular, indicating that they do not wish to see any future development activity out there. The second stated that it's overcrowded and they don't want any developers or development activity in their community. And so those were recorded calls in opposition on this rezoning request. You've
do
heard,
we have anybody here that wants to come up in opposition of this? Like to come up and speak?
I didn't put my name down to speak, but I'm in opposition of it.
Are you the only one that's here in opposition of it? Is
No,
anybody else?
There's others.
Was anybody wanna come up and speak? That's what we're here for, to speak in opposition of it.
You need to come forward.
Right.
If you're gonna speak.
I mean, that's,
You don't have to.
I mean, I might as well.
yeah.
If you would, just state your name and address for the record.
My name is Kayla Logan, 185 Wilson Bates Road. My kids go to Pisgah, and they're busting at the seams. There's 2 grades in portables, and if there's an active shooter, my son's grade has been told to run out of his portable to the field. So, like, safety is an issue, and, you know, developers are flocking because it's the new spot. And so if we, sorry, I'm not a great public speaker, if we can't house what we have, how can we bring in more? I'm not against people moving out here. I get it. I've lived all over this country. I'm in the military, and I brought my kids back to be raised here.
Well, you went to school there, didn't you?
I did. But I'm not against people moving out, building a house, slowing down. I get it. But we cannot put the cart before the horse here. And that's what everybody's trying to do. I get it, it's dollar signs. But what are we gonna do if something happens and instead of, you've got 10 extra kids in a portable, now you've got 150. And Rankin County School District won't build for what's expected. They build for what we have now. And then in 3 years when it's done, because it's the government, it takes a lot of time, we've already outgrown it. So, again, I'm not against people coming out building. I'm against the developers.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
We got anybody else?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Dwight Norris. I live at 873 Old Highway 43 North, which is on the corner of Lewis Preston Road and Highway 43 North, just a few feet down from where this development is being proposed. I'd originally called and voiced my opinion against it because of the rumors that were going around. Some people said it was going to be backed by national builders, such as D.R. Horton and some of those, and some had indicated that the financing companies behind those, you know, once you build these properties and can't sell them, they may tend to accept somebody that is borderline, and therefore it would impact the maintenance of the property and eventually their ability to keep the property and eventually turning it into rental property and those type of things. Most of us out there on that road have a minimum of 5 acres. You were talking about that extending the moratorium, which I am fully in support of. I think 5 acres will be fine. What our fear out there is we're going to get overdeveloped, such as been brought up. Do we have the school system? Do we have the infrastructure? Property values. But we're also looking right across the street from me at a roughly 1,000 acre solar farm plant. So the community's kind of getting hit hard right now. We're a little skeptical of developers, most definitely. If we can put a 5 acre moratorium in place and let's look at it from that perspective, get some minimum square footages, protect the rest of our property values, and we got a lot of issues we need to talk about out there, and let's take our time and do it right. That's what we're asking for. Thank you.
Something that Mr. Norris brought up, I want to address fast. This board's already taken into consideration any sort of industrial level solar farm activity. Anything approaching something like 1,000 acres would be classified as industrial level solar. You've prohibited that in all zoning classifications that are not zoned industrial.
I know that's my district, but is that countywide?
That's countywide.
That's countywide.
Okay.
They cannot be located except on industrial zoned property. And that means, are they greater than, what's the minimum footprint that they can have without a rezoning? I think it's 1 acre. Okay. If I recall correctly.
I believe so.
So if they're going to occupy anything more than 1 acre, it has to be zoned industrial in order for any organized solar activity. This doesn't apply to people that want to put solar type stuff on their house. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about the business of solar farming. That
Solar
is
industry.
relegated, the solar industry, that has been relegated to your industrial zone classification. So I want to tamp that down immediately. Anybody in Rankin County hears about a potential solar farm, the first question is to ask is the property where they are intending to be located zoned industrial? If the answer to that is no, it's not happening.
And there's some people that are even here that live very close to county line where they see it.
Right. Yes.
But that county hadn't
That's
adopted
correct.
the industrial
Yes.
zone.
This board made that decision for a couple of different reasons, primarily. You wanted to protect row crop agriculture in particular. You also want to protect the timber industry as well. And the second consideration is that those types of activities have a significant impact on property, significant, because they have the potential for being environmentally disfavored. You can imagine a big tornado event comes through from one of these solar places like this and wipes that place out. You've got a lot of debris that gets scattered all over the place. And so we wanted to be real careful with how that particular industry develops out in Rankin County, if at all. So I hope to have addressed that clearly. Did you guys want to hear from anyone else that's speaking in opposition?
Mr. Norris.
Yes.
Just a quick question on that. The 1,000 acres that had originally been proposed, or roughly 1,000 acres been proposed for that solar farm, I have a hunting lease on that land, a group of us do. We were recently told that that option for the solar plant to come in has been extended several more weeks. To this board's knowledge, is this going to court to override what restrictions have been put in place?
Have you had any application?
So I'm wondering why they've extended the timeline.
They haven't applied.
From the timber company.
They haven't even applied here.
Okay, all right.
You can answer that. Okay. Gentlemen,
Do we need to hear from the applicant?
you're welcome to hear from the applicant on the rezoning request, Mr. Kay.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Brandon McKay, and I live at 200 Wind Springs Road in unincorporated part of the county. As Mr. Slay said, we are proposing to change from A2 to RE1 at that location with the 8 lots. With frontage, all of them having frontage on either Harold or Highway 481. We have done some due diligence in talking with Leesburg Water Association to see as far as capacity, the water system, and talked with the engineer there, Mr. Morgan Sims, and appears they have capacity. He has not done the impact study yet to know what improvements we may or may not have to do if this is approved to supply water there. But we have done that. We've also talked to Marty Hollingsworth at NDOT, which is over permitting for that specific district, just because we're going to have driveway permits on the 4 lots that front Highway 481, and we haven't submitted anything, haven't gotten approval, but he doesn't, he didn't seem to see any hindrance to that. There's like on the, I guess the first lot, that would be the only one that would be close to having any issues, but he didn't think that was going to be a problem. But yeah, that's Mr. Slay summarized what we're proposing, and just wanted to speak to those due diligence items that we've already done at this point, just trying to get ahead of the game. And as far as that goes, and I would just point out, 225 feet to the south of here is a previously platted neighborhood, Harold Acres, I believe, and it has nine lots. of which are, you know, within the 2 to 3 acre threshold, which I know that's past decision, that's not necessarily impactful on this, but it just, you know, kind of shows some of the character of the neighborhood that has been changing as people have made their way out to the Pisgah area.
So is that area also set aside like what you're doing, just off public road?
It was, yes, sir. Yeah, it's already have houses built on it. I think there's 9 houses that are there. Yeah, it's just to the south.
One that's already there.
Yeah. So that's, I think it's 225-ish feet from the southern property line of this specific
And
portion.
what's the square footage of the 2,500?
On the Harold Acres that has been approved already, the covenants for it was 2,200 square feet. But I know in discussions with through the pre-meeting, pre-development process that y'all have in place, that matching that or going to kind of the new proposed standard, I think Mr. Gaines in your district of the 2,500 square feet, and that would be, you know, one of those two things, whichever, you know, is y'all's desire.
Let me ask you a question real
Yes, sir.
quick. I mean, you heard what Mr. Gaines said a while ago. Would y'all consider taking one of those lots out?
We just need to have another pre-development meeting.
Okay.
And then we sit down and, I wasn't at the other one.
Yes, sir.
But let's do that. Let's schedule a pre-development meeting and let me see if we can come to a happy medium. Okay?
Okay.
Brian, can you give
Yes,
us
sir.
a date and fix us up?
Because some of your lots on that plat I saw are pretty narrow. I mean, they meet the minimum road frontage of 100 feet, but I think the whole idea with that idea up front was that was the entrance to a lot, not necessarily the whole lot to be 100 feet wide.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know, you know, you put a 2,500 square foot house on a 100-foot lot, you're gonna take up the whole lot.
It's gonna.
So that there is no 100-foot widths.
There's not.
No, sir. On lot 2, there is 100-foot, or lot 1 and lot 2, there's 100-foot frontage, but both of those open up to bigger areas in the back.
How big is the back of those lots?
150?
125, 130?
Well, that's a different plat than I saw.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know off the top of my head. There is lot 7 and lot 8 are 135 feet wide, so that's the narrowest.
Okay, this is Lewis Prestige I'm
Okay,
talking about. Is
okay.
that the one we're talking about now? I was
Here.
talking
No, sir,
about the
we're
one
on
up on
here.
Harold Road.
Yes, sir.
Harold Road. So,
Yours is
so
actually two
lot
different
7
roads,
and
right?
lot 8 are
On this one, yes, sir,
135
41
feet
and-
wide. Okay, got it.
Well,
So
let me
they're a
ask you
little
this.
wider than that.
Steve, you say in 6 months that you're going to drop the 5 acres, so
I didn't, no, I don't know if we're gonna drop it
We might adopt it.
or adopt it, but, we can have a pre-development meeting and see if we can make these
Close.
a little better, a little closer, to what we want. And I don't want them looking like a subdivision. I mean, where we're at, I wanna have the rural atmosphere, and, you know, but let's just schedule another pre-development meeting and work it out.
Okay. Any other questions for me?
So what we would probably want to do at this juncture,
Just table
it's
it.
a little tedious because we do have folks who have made the effort to come here today to speak in opposition on this. So my thought process, Steve, would be that we would continue both item I and J, the public hearing, that we would continue those until our, we would have to continue it. I'm trying to give us enough time. I think the September work session would be the appropriate time to extend these public hearings. And what we will do is anyone who is here who wants to be notified about the date and time that you will ultimately decide.
You know, we're gonna have a lot going on that day.
Not at the end of September.
my opinion is, hey, we need to vote on it quick and don't drag them around. I mean, are y'all in favor of us voting and so y'all know something, or do y'all wanna keep dragging this out? I mean, instead of putting it off down the road, I mean,
I imagine they wanna be able to work with the
we're
supervisor.
prolonging, it seems like government prolongs everything, you know, you put it down the road, put it down the
Steve
road.
needs opportunity to meet with the guy and let them see if they can't work something out anyway.
Well, I mean, it's,
Yeah.
well, that's why I was asking them, you know, I mean, what do y'all wanna,
Well, to speak to the impact, they won't necessarily provide that until it's approved.
that's what I'm getting at, where,
Let me correct that. We don't wanna move forward with that because it's a cost, you know, if it's not
right.
an option.
That's right.
You know, from the Board of Supervisors. So we could go ahead and pay to do that, and I have preliminary talks with the engineer, and some of the board members, that there is capacity available. And to speak to this property directly, the subdivision to the south, the developer had to run a new line to get there. And so, you know, they haven't told me there is for sure available, but they have capacity, and it's a matter of what we have to pay to, you know, to
Impact
add water
fee.
to these specific lots.
Right. But I was just asking, you know, if y'all wanted a answer today, or, you know, it might not be the right one you want, but,
Can I ask a question in regards to that?
right.
If we don't get an answer today, is there specific ordinances or requirements and when it could be brought again?
Yes.
Period?
Typically, where a rezoning request has been denied, there is prohibition on bringing the same rezoning request for a period of 12 months. That's why it's important sometimes that we actually stop, think about it, maybe not act. And so in this particular case, if the board is of the mind to move forward with a decision, and if that decision is to deny, this matter will not be subject to being revisited for a period of 12 months.
Okay.
Mr. McKay has the ability, should he choose to accept it, to withdraw his current request for rezoning so that no consideration is made, and then he will preserve the right to refile that rezoning request at any point. That could be a way to handle this. Withdraw it, withdraw item I and J both, public hearings on rezonings for both Highway 481 Harold and Lewis Prestige, and then allow for a meeting with Steve, and then see whether or not it's appropriate to refile the rezoning request, which, by the way, you have the ability to waive the fee associated with the refiling, which would be appropriate in this case.
Yes, that's right.
Should you choose to do
So
that.
I was mistaken. I thought you was talking about August. I knew we had a public hearing coming up that
Yes,
day.
sir. No, sir. This would be October the 2nd. This would be the proposed date. Should Mr. McKay choose to withdraw the request in the current environment, allow Steve to have a conversation and refile, as long as that refiling is done at the appropriate time, we can get a hearing as soon as October 2.
Okay.
Seems like that is a lot more trouble than pausing until our next work session. And I can meet with them in between that time, and I hope we could work something out.
Time constraint, some issue, like talking with the seller that's in the nursing home. Like, we're in a time frame of a contract. And I don't know if we're talking about September, October on a work session. I don't know.
Well, usually it's in September, but the way it falls, it's gonna hit.
Yeah, our contract may be, you know, we're local, right? We're Rankin County guys. We both live in unincorporated areas of Rankin County. And if we back out and the moratorium goes out, I mean, he was talking about D.R. Horton. Who says that a big corporate conglomerate doesn't come in and take advantage of it? We're
gonna try to stop that best we can.
Well, I understand, and I appreciate that, right? Because I don't want to see D.R. Horton coming in and buying next to my house.
But the worst case scenario, time-wise, would be when, that we would.
Well, they're in a
take
time
this
frame.
in. But I mean, if we chose to stop, we wait 2 weeks, or what is it gonna be? It's gonna be
October.
Your next meeting will be August the 28th. That's your next work session. As Jay pointed out,
It's full.
that is gonna be a very busy day for us, very busy. So my suggestion would be we look at 1st September or
What about the
mid-September.
first meeting in September?
Is that the second?
September
That's
2nd.
actually on a Tuesday, is it not?
Right.
Because Labor Day
Yes.
is.
Do y'all have that long to wait?
Can you wait till September the 2nd?
We're
So let the record reflect, gentlemen, that if that's what we want to do, we need to make a notification to everybody in the room who's shown up today on this matter, that this matter will not be on for decision today, that you're gonna table the decision on both I and J. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yes.
We're gonna table that, and we're going to renew the discussion with a public hearing for I and J on September the 2nd at 9 a.m. So everybody that's here has been put on notice that that is when we are going to revisit this. If anybody who's here wants to be notified directly in writing, I'm gonna ask either Colby or Ashley to go out into the lobby and to take down the name and address of anybody that wants to be notified directly that that's when the next hearing on these matters will be. Y'all help me with that? Good. Is that your motion, Mr. Gaines?
Yes, sir.
To table items I and J until September 2 at 9 a.m.
He's got one
And then-
more question.
Mr. Slade, so we've been in the public hearing for 481 in Harold.
Yep.
We haven't done anything with Lewis Prestige, which I know some of the opposition obviously would apply to that as far as
Yes.
the schools.
Both matters.
But some of it would not as well as far as congestion due to the traffic. I mean, do we need to hear opposition to that or just go ahead?
That can all be brought up on the 2nd.
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Gaines, your motion will be items I and J will be tabled and will be revisited September the 2nd at 9 a.m. Okay.
That's my motion.
I'll second that motion.
Steve made a motion, Brad seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm looking at Sam. She's gonna have to make sure we get that on the September 2 agenda. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. All right, items A and J have now been dealt with. We are ready to proceed with the board's, Mr. President, with your permission, we'll move to item M.
Okay.
Discussion of the state legislature initiatives for 2026. This is for our legislative session upcoming. I've got Mr. Frank Jones here. He's going to step forward, I hope, not leave me up here to the wolves. And we're going to discuss our legislative initiatives for the session.
Good morning.
Morning.
How y'all?
Good, Trey.
Go ahead, Trey, I'm sorry. Okay. Somebody speak.
That's good, that's fine. So this will be quick. This is the time that typically every year we come to you guys to get some guidance about what we want to be focused on as we get into the session. Y'all know that the months leading up to the session are really the most important ones. If you wait until January to be talking about what you're really focused on, you probably won't be focused on much at all. So this is the time where a lot of work gets done behind the scenes. So we like to come to y'all early and talk about what you guys see as the priorities going in. Y'all are watching like we are some of the information about what's gonna be, there's gonna be a lot of focus this session, as y'all see, on school choice. That's gonna be a very, very hot issue. My hope is that we don't get into some of the battles that we saw last year on that issue that distracts from some of the other things. And that's just the way it works, that's politics and it happens, but I'm hopeful that we don't see some of that. So, as y'all know, y'all heard me say this before, it's really important that we try to be very focused on what the priorities are. If we go over there and start shooting left and right, and, you know, when we're talking to our delegation, if we stay in a consistent with them, they really believe that that's the priority. So what we've done in the past is we usually have one or at most two what I call pure legislative type priorities. And what I mean by that is changing statutes, tinkering with laws, maybe a new statute. Remember last year, I put in that category, we changed the hearing officer on the solid waste disputes in a way that was very positive and saves the county a bunch of money, and sometimes it takes a couple of years to get that done. We got that done. We got some additional district attorneys for Bubba. That was a big win for us. This year, you all may have other thoughts. One of the things that I've heard is an issue from Judge Mora is a concern about the backlog that is occurring as a result of the overlap, if that's the right word, Craig, between municipal the municipal courts and the county courts, in which we've got some issues and where they're stuck there, and there's some ways that I think we potentially can explore adjusting the jurisdiction there to streamline that process. And so one thought would be to have some conversations with Judge Mora to see if that can be accomplished. That's just one idea. Craig, you may want to elaborate on that. I know you've talked to David about that some.
Yes.
So if you want to add some things to that.
Just a little more meat on the bone. So what happens fairly often, according to my limited conversation with Judge Mara, and I want to be careful because I want Judge Mara to actually be able to speak on this matter with the board if y'all are going to be willing to entertain his ideas. But what he's explained is that there will be occasions where a municipal court judge sets a bond on a misdemeanor offense, and that causes a situation where that individual is incarcerated in the county jail for a period of time, and because of the amount of that bond, that person is not able to, quote, make bond, and so they have to sit there. They sit in our jail. And there are issues associated with somebody sitting in jail for a long time, especially on a misdemeanor offense. I hope that makes sense to you. You get into some constitutional considerations. The way that the current statutes are structured, it does not allow for anybody other than that municipal judge to revisit the issue of the amount of that bond. You're in our jail, but the municipal court judge is controlling that bond. And Judge Morrow believes, and I don't have a reason to argue against it, but Judge Morrow believes that once they have been turned over to the jail, there ought to be an opportunity for the county court judge to address the issue of the bond amount in light of all of the circumstances, and that we would not be beholden to the municipal court judge about who's in the jail when we're the ones that are dealing with that individual and the constitutional issues that flow from their incarceration. Do we have a way so that there can be a way for Judge Morrow to visit that? We need to look at the statutes that address that jurisdictional element. And so that's what Judge Morrow is asking for help with. Can we approach the legislature about looking at that? So that would be one item that falls into the category of a legislative initiative.
What I typically do is, we talk to Judge Morrow about that and see what his thoughts are, and then I normally try to think, early on, who would be against this, and who would possibly have an issue with this, and so we have some conversations probably with MNL, and maybe talk to them, see what they think about this, the Prosecutors Association. Those are all strong lobbies over there. And so if we see early on, maybe there's some things that we didn't think about that potentially they're gonna oppose this, spend a lot of time, we'll weigh that and see what we wanna do. Anything in the criminal justice realm like this is challenging.
Yep.
It just is, just because you got a lot of folks with eyeballs on it. I mean, we saw that with the DA issue. I mean, you've got, anytime you talk about impacting the criminal justice process, that's difficult. But the way it's been described to me, it is a concern and it is a problem, and so that would be an item that we would be spending some time on over the next couple of months, getting ready for the session to address.
I don't know that it moves the needle a whole lot on your costs, but it certainly would help from the standpoint of reducing your liability exposure to any sort of constitutional challenges.
So, any concerns about that from you guys, or any?
Yeah, I do. I mean, depends on what the municipalities push back on it.
That's
so.
right, that's exactly, that would be one of the first conversations that we wanna have. We've got a very good relationship with their legislative folks, and we usually work with them very closely, so we can have a very good, candid discussion with them about, here's what we're thinking about doing, what do y'all see, and, sometimes they say, absolutely, what can we do to help, so, Jay, I'll make sure that we get their check off.
Do we need to have conversations directly with mayors? Jay?
So, yeah. I thought that's what he was kinda alluding to.
Well, MML and their legislative team, Jay,
Well, I'm
was
more
the first
concerned about
call.
our local folks.
No question,
We will.
no question. It's checking both boxes, in my opinion. We'll make it a point to reach out to each of the mayors.
Okay, so that will be, and again, if y'all think about it, and you come up with other things, tell Craig, and if we have a couple of those, that's normally not a problem. You just don't wanna burden these guys with, hey, let's sit down, let's talk about 6 things we need done. They very quickly zone you out.
So I spoke with Brent about one issue I think we may take up, but I'll wait. I need to get some more input back from him first.
Okay.
But it should be an easy.
Famous last
Famous last word. Okay, all right, I'm just gonna make a note about that, Jay. All right, we'll talk about it. All right, then the next item is we like to identify one funding request that is gonna be the priority for the session. Last year, as y'all know, while we had good success on the legislative front, it was a challenging year on funding for anybody. Y'all know how that worked. There were no projects funded for any county, any city, anything around the entire state as a result of the back and forth that y'all saw between the House and the Senate and this and that. So, there's 2 ways to look at that. One is, we heard at the end of the session that, okay, well, we're probably not gonna have any projects this year, but that means we just gonna have more money next year. That may be the case, maybe not be the case, but that's reason for some optimism that maybe there will be. We're also a little closer to election year, and there's a whole lot of folks over there that are thinking about running for a lot of different things, and so projects may be easier to come by for that reason. But the concern again, though, is that there could be the same type friction again that we saw last year. I hope not, but I see some of those things bubbling up already, and so I hope, unfortunately, project funding for any counties and cities, it sometimes gets lost in that battle, and that's exactly what we saw last year. And I'm hoping that doesn't happen. But one way to get out in front of that is to go ahead and let our delegation and the leadership know what our priority is going into the session. Y'all heard me say before, doesn't matter to me what the priority is, that's for you 5 gentlemen to decide. What is important, though, is that we all be committed that that's our priority, because it's in nobody's best interest, I promise you. If we're over there, if y'all give us the direction to be communicating with the delegation about an item, and we're trying to sell, those guys have literally hundreds and hundreds of people coming to them with their hands out. Every county in the state, every city in every county, agencies, y'all know what that's like. And we start behind the 8 ball anyway, because we've done well, and because we're viewed by some around the state as, well, they don't need any money. We know that's not the case, but the point is, if they get any sense, if the delegation or even the leadership around the state get any sense that, well, I mean, I heard from Trey that this was important to Rankin County, but then I'm hearing from such and such over here that they want this and that's really the priority. When that happens, you end up getting neither. Because you essentially have, it works like that in Jackson, it works like that in DC. If you get two requests going on, they're really in competition with each other. And many times, you lose both. So what I would ask y'all, y'all decide what priority you want. What I would ask you to do is for y'all's benefit, for everybody's, is let's focus on one, let's get behind it, and when you see these guys over the next 2 or 3 months, when you see them, I'm talking about the delegation, they hear from me a lot. They hear from me a whole lot. They need to hear from you guys. When you're with them at the coffee shop, once we decide what we're gonna be, when you're at the coffee shop and you, hey, what's going on, this and that, you know, this and this is what, you know, good game last Friday night. We really need your help with. I know Trey's talking to you about. I know we didn't get anything done last year, and that's okay, I understand that. We gotta have it this year. It's important. I mean, they need to hear from you guys that it is a focus and a priority, so.
We got one that we've been working on, just go after it again, the economic development off of Airport Road.
That was last session's request specifically, and it had good traction. Here's the only thing that's changed. We now have an economic development director who has come forward and said, let's add another 15 acres. We're in the process of securing that now. That's done. We're in our due diligence period. We hadn't bought it yet, but we're in our due diligence period. So that's happening. And he has some pretty definitive ideas about what to do with that site. The only thing that I would add, Brad, is that last year, when we stood that up as our priority, we didn't have an economic development director, and we didn't really know or have any impression about what could be done to make that site or enhance that site for those purposes. So we just stood up a request. We felt like if we can get some funding for this, we can certainly make that site as good as it possibly can be. The dynamics have changed a little bit since we've got a new director, and how aggressive we want to be may have changed in this period of time. So I'm not suggesting don't make that a priority. I'm suggesting we may not need to be as aggressive, or maybe not quite as much of a priority as it was last year.
All right.
Or, you know, Rankin First will be talking to those guys. And so as they talk to them, that could, you know, that could be their focus. I don't see that as much of an inconsistency if Garrett and Regina are talking to them on something. You know, that doesn't eat in necessarily to us. It does a little bit, but
I don't want to get ahead of them. They're going to run with that, and I want their board, I want the Rankin First board to be able to set their priorities. But there are options that economic developers have that don't include the state legislature directly. They include NDA, and that's really not our bag. And I wonder if we would be better served, since we've turned that site over to Garrett and Rankin First, I wonder if we're better served to let them run with how to coordinate with MDA over some funding that could help them get that site ready.
Okay.
They got $250,000 for that site last year. So I think there is a pathway for them to qualify for additional MDA funding on that site. I wonder if we'd be better off, instead of that being our priority, trying to carry that, I wonder if we'd be better off let them run with it and us focus on a different problem.
All right, I think, yeah, we can do that, and we'll think on, come up with something and all agree on and get back with you.
that'd be fine.
Right.
That'd be fine. You know, you want to start having meetings with the leadership definitely by the end of September. So, I mean, we need to, whatever that's gonna be. And I know there's some options out there, and y'all think about it, and Jay, you talk to Brent and think about this other issue, and then I would like to, certainly by the end of September, have, this is our agenda, this is our focus. And, we get after it. Anything else, any questions?
Think that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Will that be the same for our federal initiatives? Keep in mind that your 25
your FY '26 stood up at 25, requests got passed over because Congress adopted a year-long continuing resolution. So none of the appropriations requests got acted on. They kept everything flatlined and just rolled forward into the new year. So all of our FY '26 have been stood up for FY '27 now. We have initiatives in place, is what I'm saying, and it's by virtue of the way that the offices, the delegations offices work with us. They basically told us, what y'all asked for last time, we're just gonna use those again. So you've got a funding request for help on your dead trees. Quick reminder, it's a $5 million appropriations request, hasn't been acted on yet. It's still unclear at this point whether or not prior to the end of this year, their budget's gonna come due at the end of October, I believe it is, maybe the end of September. At any rate, they've got to act, they gotta do something. We're being told that it's still not clear whether they're gonna act on appropriations requests or not. But they're there. They're waiting for action. So we're kind of in a state here where it's a little bit too early for us to start the process of the next request, but we need to get ready. So we need some direction on what do we need to be asking for? What is our priority at the federal level? Stormwater. You got a request for stormwater for $3.8 million that's still out there pending, and you got a $5 million help you with your dead trees request that's out there pending, both of those.
Yeah, I think the dead trees is definitely priority.
I think it will continue to be, is what I'm saying.
Right.
So let's say we get to end of September and Congress says, we're still log jammed, we're not gonna act on anything. I would need some direction. Do we go back again and say, please keep that dead tree request in place for the next cycle?
I think so.
Is that what y'all want?
I think so.
That helps us. We will make sure that that request gets there. Typically, we will cycle back and forth between stormwater, working with the Corps, and transportation. So we do need to give some thought about activities that Congress goes through that are favored for one or the other. We are moving into a situation where transportation is gonna be front and center. So we may want to focus on transportation on this next cycle. So I want y'all to be thinking about that.
All right.
All right.
All righty,
All
thank
right.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, gentlemen. The last item under my section is consideration of and potential action to approve and authorize the execution of a professional services agreement between Rankin County and JH&H Architects for all services related to your 2025 general obligation bond facility projects. The folks from JH&H are here with us today. I'm welcoming them to our meeting. Glad you're here. And you guys can be prepared to come forward if you don't mind. They were kind enough to send me the form of agreement, which looks almost identical to the 2018 JH&H Rankin County agreement when we built our Chancery Court, Justice Court building. The language is virtually identical to all of that. They have graciously allowed their fees to be set at the same amount that we were charged for the work all the way back in 2018. Thank you, gentlemen, for that. They managed to keep their fees steady, as it were, and so it's an arrangement that the county is very familiar with. The proposal would be for assistance at the architect level, professional services related to architectural services that relate to your district attorney's office building, which is your common bond project, your tax assessor, tax collector building, which is your common bond project, and your animal shelter relocation project, which is a common bond project, those three. And then the Holly Bush Fire Station is also proposed for architectural services. That's a significant structure that's going to require architects to be involved in. And then there is a placeholder for any other facilities that are assigned by the board. Your discretion, your call on what it is. That's the structure of the arrangement. 7% architectural fee. If you have any other questions about that, I'm happy to try to address those. For other purposes, I've got Adam Haver and Jeff McGee here to help us with any questions you may have directly of our architects. Any questions, gentlemen?
So where do y'all stand in preparation on us getting started?
We're in, I guess on the two projects that Craig Adams went over with you earlier, is tax assessor's office design is, schematic design is complete. We're moving through construction documents after y'all give us approval on those schematic documents. That's same thing with the DA. We intend on bidding these things out at the beginning of the year. I believe that it's been communicated to us that we'd like for these things to be complete spring of 2027, and that is the schedule we are shooting for.
Yeah, I mean, is there some reason you're waiting to do it first of the year? Why can't we do it, say, in December?
We can, Adam, I'm gonna leave that one up to you.
Or
We can do it as long
November.
as decisions are made.
Or November? How long is it gonna take to get the drawings finished?
And then we got a month to bid it.
Right.
You know, a month and a half basically to bid it. So, I mean, that's kind of filling that in the schedule.
I think that's what we were kind of estimating is kind of going into the holidays with everything done, but with the 30-day timeline for bidding and holidays, that usually would probably land you.
So we'll be ready to open bids in January?
Correct. That'd be
That's
the
what we're
plan.
shooting for.
Okay, if that's what you'd like to see, I just offer to you, as you're in and around the holidays, and you've got a lot of estimators who's probably gonna be done.
I would think they could take time off to do this.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
If they want to
If this
work,
is-
throw it
that's
out
right,
there.
if they wanna work, they'll
Just
put the
throwing
gun
it
down.
out there, it will be the holiday period for them to be, putting the.
So I want you to do it as soon as possible, is what I want you to do.
That's what we're shooting for. To tell you the truth, honestly, Jay, if we can make the schedule compressed a little bit more, I mean, number one, tax building is a simple building. I mean, it's simple, it's a smaller scale project. There's a good chance we'll be able to let that one earlier. The DA's office takes a little bit more, but it should be right on the same schedule. So, you know, once everything is approved here, y'all are good with everything, we can move on construction documents as quick as we can.
All right.
Depending on how everything is with the site. But
Yep. Can I show you the work product that's been done on the DA building, so that you're clued in here? Y'all each have a packet.
All right.
I managed to get two of them jacked up together, so.
That's up in Lakeland Drive, yeah, I see that. Or is that?
No, this is DA.
What's this road?
That's, Marquette.
Oh, Market.
That's the pit.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The curb cut above to the north is the ground modeling.
Okay, yep, got it.
This is, a work product today for the district attorney's office. What you'll see is the site plan. What you don't see is property boundaries, because the site is a work in process at the moment. Tim is working the civil package. We've had some core sampling done.
Right, which one we talking about, both of them?
Let's talk about the
Yeah,
core sampling.
Yeah, we've had soil samples, and I'm not looking at the documents, but the revised layout, we met with Brandon, and, once we get the revised site from Adam, then we'll start planning and all that. So we've done the topo.
Yeah. We've made really good progress on this building. By all accounts, in our conversations with the district attorney, he and his staff are very happy with the general scope and layout. There has been significant work done to pare the
size of the building down to account for some of the early requests that it turns out were not, maybe not quite as necessary.
Okay, good.
Right?
Good. So we hired you guys for.
Yeah.
Both these groups were great groups to work with.
Absolutely.
And to be honest with you, again, I mentioned that the tax building is an easy building, it is, we know what it's there for, serve your, community, so I mean, it's easy. The DA is a little bit different, and we did an initial program, and as Craig mentioned, we basically looked at them and said, we're not gonna be able to go through, the supervisors are not going through with it. And we issued them a challenge to make cuts. And they took it upon themselves, sat in this room, and started whittling away stuff that they felt that they could live without. I mean, it was, trust me, if we had more clients like that, it'd be great. Because our issue, of course, during this time is always gonna be to fight budgets. We tell people all the time, go ahead and make out your wish list. But you need to realize your wish list is gonna get cut. Because, it isn't Christmas.
What are you anticipating ballpark square footage price?
Price or square footage, or both?
Price per square foot. Price per
Yeah,
size.
square foot is roughly, just shy of 12,400 square feet on that building, and we estimated that was 4.8 to 5.2 building costs.
Which building was that?
DA.
Okay, all right.
Taxes.
12,000 square feet?
Yes,
Just-
12,450.
Yeah,
How much was that per square foot?
that was a range of around 390 to 425.
And
We're given a range because, kind of.
we're trying to throw in, we're trying to be very conservative on that. If especially in the public sector this time, if you sat here and we were all behind another, I'd be telling you I'm shooting for a lot lower.
Right.
Because there's that number does include some site costs compared to other recent projects, but as we're working through with them, there may be some savings there. but we
Do
just
you
don't
feel
know
like
that.
we'll come in,
Way under.
That's what we're shooting.
Right.
I mean, we're not talking about extravagant buildings, they're public buildings.
Right.
And both these user groups understand that. They're not asking for Taj Mahals or anything like that. We're trying to make sure also, when we approach any building that we do for y'all, we have in the past, we account for a 20 to 25% growth factor on them. The reason for that is because you're not in a situation, a good example is your circuit court building that you have now. And it was built 25 years ago. And to be honest with you, that's what's happening with the DA, because they get kicked out of there because the growth now is, in that situation. So it's just like when we did the Chancery Justice. Account for the growth, so you won't be looking in the next 10 years doing something with it. We want you to look 25 years down the road. So, keep that in mind, and that's also the reason why your cost is gonna be where it is. We're gonna throw out an estimate that's gonna be high until we actually get into doing construction documents. We get a little bit better handle on what we can and can't do.
Estimator can actually get
If
involved.
if we simplify some things as we go through the design process and construction documents, we'll do it. Because we're looking at cost savings too. We know it's public dollars that y'all are using. We know that. So, as I had mentioned to you about the range on the DA's office, I think your range was where on the tax assessment?
Let's be real careful, guys. We are in open session.
No.
We have folks that love to pay attention to what's going on. It's their right to do so. But sometimes we need to be careful because we are going to be in a competitive environment eventually on these buildings. And I really prefer that we keep a lot of the detailed conversations about price per square foot, and estimates and whatnot. We just need to really keep those generic and general.
Okay. Understood.
All right. Good then.
This is the tax assessor, tax collector facility. This one is a little different because we have not yet closed on the property. We have an option to purchase the property. And that option needs to be triggered.
Is it privately owned, the property?
It is. And now that we have actual bond proceeds that we can use, there's no reason for us not to move forward now.
What was the square footage on the DA?
12,000.
12.5.
I was kinda expecting this one to be a lot less than this number. The
Tax.
assessor's office.
4,200,
Yeah.
where you're at.
I
Again,
thought it would be somewhere around 3,000.
where we were shooting for, of course, but I mean, again, we have to include the growth factor on there also. So I mean, we tried to anticipate a 20-25% growth factor on there. We're getting a drive-through, which wouldn't, you know, they don't currently have where they are, so made a little, increased a little bit there because the drive-through, we're hanging a window off the side. I should say, we're hanging it off the side of the building.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what it is.
Jay, you've got a couple of things that kind of crept into the decision-making on this. One is that we needed some additional space that we don't currently have with our rental for tax assessor. Appraisers to have a place to be able to do work as they are conducting activities up in that.
You got any interior stuff?
Did not.
Bring it today.
Didn't have to bring it.
We do have some.
There's a flex space office.
Yeah, it's flex space.
It's basically where appraisers come in or building inspectors can have a place out of county, if they need to come in and do paperwork or what have you, if they've got a spot to come in.
Flex space, storage, as Craig was mentioning, tax assessor, right now, when you come in, you go straight to their desk. So that we have kind of built in some square footage for a checkpoint, more like what's in this building. You come to a counter, and then you get either your business is handled at the counter, or you go back to a desk. And then the biggest lack on the collector side in their current building is queue space. When you walk in, you walk right up to the counter at the front door. So we've tried to kind of build in a space that makes that a little bit more like a bank environment, where you come in and actually have a line, and you're not snaking through all the building as they currently have.
Yeah, I'd like to look at it.
Printer plotter, one of the printers plotters is gonna also move over there.
For
So
mapping.
they'll have that, yeah, for mapping, they'll have that. Mapper is gonna be over there full time. So, again, that's, on that particular building, we're looking at 25% future growth of what we're looking for. Just go ahead and plan for it out there, because we don't wanna come back in the next 10 years and have to do something else.
And again, like Craig said, when the site, you know, there's still some to be determined there with the purchase of that property. So what we show now for site plan is kind of assumed property lines that's kind of somewhat subject to change based on what it actually.
And it's gonna run similar to the cost per square foot as a DA.
Similar, maybe a little less.
Yeah, and then, you know, between two buildings, you're talking about 7.
Yeah.
Between
Yeah.
two buildings, 7.
Yeah.
And that's just the two.
Yeah.
And then again,
That's
same thing, give you the same thing that I mentioned earlier, is we're trying to give you a conservative number. We can work it down to it.
So there's the dog and pony show, that the only action item that's before you is not to approve any of this stuff,
Right.
right? There's nothing to approve here. This is a demonstration of the work product that's already gone on. The action item is, are we prepared and ready for a motion to approve the professional services agreement with J&H? That's the question.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
At what percent?
7%.
Y'all didn't negotiate that none, did you? Yes.
It's up for discussion.
Yeah. Maybe 6. Possible. Y'all good with 6%?
You have to look at that.
Not without a meeting of the decision.
Well, we need to go ahead and kinda get this done today.
Negotiating.
Yeah. So well, y'all good with that?
6.5?
Yeah.
Huh?
At least go 6.5.
We need to be at 6.
All right, man. We got a motion second.
Yeah, at 6. Well, we're waiting on them to agree. They're at 6.5 right now, Jay.
Even more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just tried, honestly said, we just tried to keep it where we were. We did the old, when the last all around.
Right.
Yeah, we try to give y'all as good a service as we possibly can and be available to y'all. We think that's a fair price.
Right. So you said 6.5. Now I'm confused. I mean, one guy
I'd like to
agreed.
keep it where it is. And,
Right, but you
go
would
with the
take
motion.
6.5, if you agreed to that, on camera.
I would take that before I take 6. That's what I'm going on record saying.
Yeah, okay, well, I guess 6.5 cents, what he said. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, Sid.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, that was the last item under my section, but after Mr. Hicks is finished, we have a need to discuss the need to go into executive session. And then we also have to, at some point when we come out of executive session, we're gonna need to address item E under the consent agenda, so I don't want us to forget that.
That's fine, but the next time they're gonna sit there, be at 10%, and you're going to negotiate it down to 8, and so you're gonna be stuck.
Good morning, I think it's Sunday. Item A is we're requesting authority for the board president to sign the order of real and personal property assessment rolls for 2025. Yeah. We can't?
We have an open protest,
Okay,
so until that's closed.
let's, move that item to August 28th, or,
We can table it until the 28th.
Yeah.
you want
Aye.
to make a motion, table? No, we'll just put it on the next agenda. Item B is approval of the final summary change order, which it increased the cost of the contract by $870, and it also is requesting approval of the final payout for Southeastern. This is on our Oak Grove project, and the final payment will be $1,005. We'll close that out.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Dr. McLeod seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
Is that good with you, Jack?
All in favor? Aye.
The next item is not a final payout, but is approval of payout number 11. That's for Thornton Construction on our Reservoir East project. It's in the amount of $831,934.50.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Steve made a motion, Jay seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
If the board will allow me, I'd like to skip over D and wait until we get done with the E before we move forward with that one. So, we've been talking about the budget, and we have some handouts.
Hey, did you talked about the deal on consent? Did you pull that off?
Which, he's coming back to do it after the,
Okay, all right.
after executive.
Give you a minute to look over. This is our general. So if you, we'll wait for Sid to get back.
Sort of the master budget, right?
Mr. President, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Continuing our budget discussion from our last meeting, if you'll remember, our last meeting, we were kind of in the hole a little bit. We've gone back through every department's, that's funded through the general fund. We've gone back through every budget request, and we've kind of shrunk it down. One major move that we made is the county has the option of using 911 fees to pay for dispatchers, and the county did that for many, many years. And about 2 years ago, we stopped doing that because it was eating away, and we just didn't have enough funds in the 911 accounts to pay for any dispatchers. So this year we've gone back, they've been able to build up their reserves a little bit. We're expecting, due to state legislation, that fee is actually increasing starting in January. So it's gonna allow us to pay half of the dispatchers at the sheriff's office out of the 911 funds. And that was a savings of about $600,000 to the general fund.
That's good.
And then we've gone through and actually cut about another $700,000 out of the budget to bring it into balance.
Okay. Excellent.
So if you've got any questions, we'd be glad to address those.
So we've cut it roughly 1.3,
Yes, sir.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, we cut it about 700, and then we've
Rolled the 911.
we've substituted some funds that the state allows us to do to cover
Right.
some other costs from the fund.
Okay.
So did you ever get an answer to my question about if we budget the cash
Yes.
and
The
as long as
state
we
audit
budget,
said they
we're
had no
good?
issue with it.
Okay.
And I went back through the law allows you to budget your reserves plus your expected revenue.
Okay, so I'd ask him to find out if we wanted to spend down some of our cash balances, and I don't want us getting written up by anyone, and if we actually budget up front, are we good to go? And we are.
Okay.
So all of this that was said last previous meetings on our past audits.
Well, I don't know about all that. I just wanna make sure we were taken care of moving
Moody.
forward.
Okay. Yeah.
Moody rating
Yeah.
is what this affects.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you notice, what we're at is we're showing $120,000 surplus using what we collect this year to fund the general fund.
Okay.
Other discussion?
$800, 800,000.
I've also passed out the short sheet, is the road department.
Yeah.
All right, the one you have reflects, I know there was a lot of discussion back and forth on cutting $500,000, not cutting $500,000. So what we've done is we've incorporated, the one you have in front of you is reducing road mill $500,000, road department $500,000, and funding their, department at 6.22.
Okay. So we do that, originally what we was talking about last week was to kinda help prop up some of the money we'd be missing out of road. We can use our money we get through,
Bond money.
through, the fee for internet, so, internet
Use
fees,
tax.
yeah. So, we were planning on, if we were gonna do that, we were going to take some of that money and build a bridge rather than taking out a bridge
Bridge.
fund. But now that we're doing this, we probably need to allocate those funds to make up where we may have a little shortfall.
Yeah.
So this $500,000 does not reduce the use tax. When we took the whole, when we didn't take the $500,000, we were reducing the use tax.
Right,
to the
right,
bridge.
that's what I'm saying,
Okay.
yeah.
And just, the $500,000 reduction is going into debt service to
Yeah.
fund the bond. It's not going into general, it didn't increase general, it's going into debt service.
So, let me ask you, so would it matter right now if we budget the money for the use tax to go to pay that bridge, or we pay it out of bridge? Is there any difference?
We budgeted to pay it out of bridge
You did? Okay, alright, alright. But would it matter if we say we budgeted to pay that bridge and decide to pay use tax on it?
It would matter, because we have, when we
We have to do an
budget, we set
amendment?
the budget on expected revenue, and we're showing that revenue going into road as opposed to bridge. We'd have to set the budget to show where it's going.
Alright, oh, I'm good with it.
Okay.
So, and because of that, we didn't affect the money going to the cities or whatever that we talked about?
Yeah, there'll be a slight,
Slight
Cut,
increase,
yeah.
but not excessive.
Nah.
Okay, got it. All right.
And just in full disclosure, you're aware, you know, the county gets use tax money, the cities also get use tax money, and theirs has been going up year over year as much as ours has. And they're getting a tremendous amount of use tax money as well.
Got it.
And anything
Pearl
we
and
reduce,
Flowood, we're looking at like 50,000 was
Okay.
their impact.
Oh, okay, got it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
About 800 and something.
That's fine, that's all I had.
Yeah.
and some of the cities still saw an increase due to the.
Use tax.
Use tax, or
Yeah.
due to the reassessment.
Oh, I got you.
Pillahatchee got more money this year. All right, is there any other questions on the budget? Are y'all good, happy?
Yeah, it's good to me. Of course I do.
For the record, we did leave in the cost of living increase?
Yes, sir.
All
That
right.
includes all that.
Okay. I'm good.
So if you will allow, I'll go back to item D and ask for authority to advertise the notice of a public hearing on the proposed budget and proposed tax levy for Rankin County fiscal year 26 to be held on September the 2nd.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Jay made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion?
I have one thing under public discussion. We need to do it in executive, because I'm gonna talk about an employee.
Okay.
But if we want to adjust an employee's salary, do we need to do it now before we do this? Or
Yeah.
can you do it within that budget?
Before you approve the final budget, it needs to be done.
So,
We'll have a public hearing on the 2nd. That's when you will officially
Okay,
approve the
all right.
budget. Everything needs to be in at that
all right,
time.
so when we go in executive, I'll talk about it, and then you see how you get
Yes.
it in.
That there's a specific
Did we
personnel
approve that?
or
Did we
a
approve that?
number of personnel,
No.
Steve, that you're talking about?
It's a specific.
Okay, but it is a specific employee.
Yes.
That we need to be in executive to discuss that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
All right. I do have a few items of additional business. One is we have. So we really need to address and get some final, so that we can start extending our bond money that was received yesterday. We need to nail down the project list. I need you guys to give us some direction.
What do you need help with?
I need you guys to approve an official bond list, expenditure project list. Now, there again, these are just estimates. Are we gonna add anything? Are we going to redefine some things? In order for us to expend the money, you need to approve what we can expend it on.
So, if something were to happen and, you know, the public didn't necessarily want that fire district expanded, would there be some different, so if Steve wanted to allocate funds somewhere else, he would need to do that right now?
The board
Well,
would
not
need
right-
to address that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We would have to address that at some point.
Okay.
But as of right now,
Jay, there will be a point of no return, obviously, as we get into the individual projects, but this board retains the ability to adjust its
Change
bond
it when
project
you want
list,
to.
as long as what it is adjusting from and to is in fact authorized to be expended with bond proceeds.
All right.
Right.
I'm good with this, what we have here. If everybody else is good with their, districts, I think this is the same thing we've been talking about.
Right.
But we don't have to be more specific than this right now. This is as good as it needs to be, okay?
We, yes.
Yeah.
We would like to think on our side that once you guys make a decision, we're done. But we're prepared for adjustments to be made.
Right.
Just wanna be careful with that, and make sure we don't start aiming
As
our.
long as it's not something where you're taking money that was on here for asphalt and build a building with.
Right, so overlay projects, general, that's good enough. We don't need to say this road, this road, this road.
Right, yes.
Right, okay, got it.
Obviously,
Yeah, okay,
yes,
got it,
yes.
Curious on the District Two design part.
Yes,
What is that? I mean,
That
I had-
is, originally, when Scott was here, his project was gonna be the North Shore Parkway, to expand it, into 3 lanes. And instead of doing that entire project, because this
We don't
wasn't
have enough
enough
to do
money
it.
to do the project,
And that's what it's gonna cost to just come up with a design?
that's what it's estimated to cost to do all the engineering, right-of-way studies.
Environmental.
That's right,
Yeah,
all that.
exactly, all the due diligence piece of that, pre-construction activities, Brad.
Getting it shovel-ready,
Yeah.
I guess we can use that term.
The goal there, Brad, was to get it shelf-ready with everything, so that you may seek some additional funding from a different source.
I got
Love
you.
to see if CMPDD could help us, right? And having a design in place
I just,
puts
I,
you in
we
the
hadn't really
game.
talked about
That's
that.
right.
Okay.
I just
Tim,
didn't know.
Yes, that's
is this
what
on the call that's coming up? This, in September? Is this,
The call that'll go out in the late fall, this could be the project, but, probably it would be 1 year ahead on it, but we may get it for that.
that'd be good.
Okay.
Okay.
And just, I put some other ideas down at the bottom. One of the main ones we had talked about was the burn building, that's gonna be torn down, I guess, once they start the construction of, or destruction of our cement plant. The county's gonna lose their burn training facility. And that could impact our ability to maintain our current rating, because they
Well,
won't be
can they
receiving.
not just leave it there?
It's
No.
up against the building that's being torn down. And
I
it's,
thought it
it's
was
too,
kind of standalone.
it's too fragile to, I mean, it's been there 20 years.
It's been there since 2015, but it's had multiple fires,
Yeah.
so the structure is not capable of being moved.
And
What's your options? Cause I did hear that, I mean, you could do some training. Of course, we'll make volunteer fire departments from the south have to travel to the reservoir or whatever, cause they got.
what our goal was, Brad, come on up. What our goal was is to use our existing, land that the county owns on North Street, right down the road. And, Brett got a quote. Now, of course, this will have to be bid out, to meet state law bid requirements, but we're looking at around 155 just for the structure itself, fully put in. Now, we have to do site work, foundation work, all that stuff, so that's why there's 200,000 that I've thrown on there for the, new burn building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the site off North Street or whatever would benefit the whole county as far as coming
Right.
from the north, coming from the south.
It's centralized.
That's what they're doing now when they come to Marquette Road.
And, you know, if we had to have a training event there, we can work with the sheriff to use he has a training facility right next door, for
To do the
25,
to do
30
the
people.
inside
Yes.
stuff. The classroom stuff.
So the location works for us. So one thing I would ask is if we could amend the list to include a burn building ban, if that's.
So where is this gonna be located?
North Street. on-
That'd be right over.
Is that 10 acres over there we were talking about in the city of Brandon?
Yeah, it's gonna be partially on,
They just needed
the
the
site
frontage. part.
that you loan the city,
Yeah,
that you're letting them use.
okay.
That's the county's property, Jay.
But they just
We didn't-
asked
we didn't
for,
transfer
They're not using the
ownership.
entire site.
Right, okay,
they just needed that frontage
Yeah.
on it or something.
all right.
And that would be something in common for all the supervisors to, have a common project, so we wouldn't ask you to take it from each one,
Okay.
or one specific supervisor. Is that something I?
We've
can-
already done the 15 acres, right? I would say we weren't gonna pay for it out of the bond, though.
Well, it's on there, but no, you haven't given instructions to do
All right.
that.
We can reimburse ourselves.
The electric equipment is a new one. Yep.
Well, yeah, I put that on there because I know we had talked about it.
Yeah.
Subject to my review and making sure that it is in fact eligible to use bond proceeds.
Yeah, that was the
We
one
need to,
question
we
we
need to
had.
clarify the eligibility,
Right.
but my gut tells me we can, but I wanna be sure, Jay.
So what we got is 28 million, and then plus or minus about 4 million for these other things, so that puts us at 32.
Yeah, those are just ideas. I mean.
Well, I understand, but, they're gonna be more than ideas at some point.
Okay. I think it's a great start.
Yep.
Great start.
We don't have to spend all of it either.
No?
The Justice Center, is that just the roof, or is that the roof and,
The chillers and,
That's the roof and the air handlers on the roof. That was the estimate.
He sent us an email last night. Well, I just forwarded it to all y'all.
didn't you say you had another price?
I'm working on it. It's hard to get a price when people say, well, do I have to take the air handler off, you know, when you split it up?
Right.
You know, are we gonna, it's hard to get somebody to give you an estimate when they don't know exactly, are the air handlers gonna be taken off and new ones put on? What's the time frame? How long do we have to wait? Am I responsible, or is somebody else gonna do it?
Right.
So it's been rough trying to get somebody to give us an estimate just on the roof.
that's a
Alright.
decision that'll have
Well,
to be
that was-
made. I mean,
That was what we really discussed, is why we were entertaining this path, is so we wouldn't have to do that.
Yes, sir.
All right?
All right.
So Craig, do they need an approved bond list? Do I need to get them?
Yeah, we would need a motion to authorize us to publish this to any third parties that might need our list of bond projects for purpose of compliance with the bond statutes. So I need a motion to adopt this as our initial bond project list effective this date. If y'all are prepared to do that.
So what about the other acreage where the assessor's building's going?
Y'all have already approved the purchase of that, Jay, and we've
Okay.
already executed a purchase and sale agreement. It's just not, it's not triggered until we have bond proceeds, and it was contingent on us having an actual bond proceeds.
And that is included in the,
That's included with the cost on there? Okay, all right, gotcha.
We're ready to move forward to close that, but
I read it.
I don't need to say anything else. We've made some requests that have not yet been acted on, that we desperately need acted on.
From us?
Nope,
From who?
you and I'll talk.
All right,
I'll explain.
okay.
All right, so we need a motion.
I make a motion to approve.
do we need to add it?
Is it
Yeah.
not on here?
Let's add it.
I make a motion to add the approval list of our bond project list.
Second.
Jay made a motion to add the approval list to the bond. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I make a motion to approve the bond project list as presented.
Second.
Jay made a motion to approve. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
One other item that I have in additional business, if you noticed on our agenda, we approved 2 substantial payments for our ARPA projects.
Right.
That has basically wiped out all our funding that we currently have available to pay for ARPA projects. So we have 2 projects remaining, and they both have about $750,000 combined, $800,000 combined left to pay out. We have reimbursements coming in slowly. We have about $4 million in request right now with the state, waiting to get reimbursed. We've tapped out our line of credit to pay everything, so we expect to receive enough reimbursement in due time to pay everything off. But the timing of everything has gotten to the point where I need guidance on how, when the next round comes, if we haven't received a reimbursement, are we gonna pay from general county? Do you want to extend the line of credit to cover the additional amount due? I can work with the bank on either.
I think
avenue.
that'd be the easiest
Yeah,
route.
I would extend that.
Okay.
Or just tell the vendor it's gonna be a little bit.
I've already done that.
Well,
That's it.
hey, there's no 60 days, don't worry about it, yeah.
We'll have
Yeah,
them
we
all lined
good
up.
for it, we just might be a little bit.
So I'll do that. I just wanted you to be aware, we have the money
Right.
to accommodate
It just-
everything. It's just sitting in the state's bank account.
Right, it hadn't come to us yet.
That's right.
All right, and we will have personnel in addition, and I think pending litigation.
And some
or
possible
potential.
land acquisition.
Yes, sir. Can we go ahead and act on the item E? of the
Sure, I make a
consent?
motion to approve.
Item 1E on the consent.
Yeah, on the
Second.
consent, yeah.
That's actually already added as an action item. That was
Okay.
part of the motion to remove it and add it. So now you're just approving item E on the consent.
So I just had questions about, you know, I knew we already had drone contracts we were paying for sheriff's office. I was like, why can't we just put this one under there and not have to double pay? But basically, Brian explained to me, we have to pay according by the drone.
Right.
So, we're paying a fair amount of money, 30,000 a year. Every 2 years, we get a new drone and keep the old one. So basically, the cost is 30,000 a year for a drone, but we're paying the extras. We'll see how it goes down the road.
We're not having
I
to
guess.
pay a tariff though, because we have to buy American made, right? So we're not paying a tariff.
How long have you been into this operation, Sheriff? What, this contract?
This is our first year on it.
First year?
That's what they found the kids with the
I mean, weekly, like,
Yeah.
Yep.
the
Missing.
missing persons,
Yeah.
they want up constantly, so that's why we have them on each shift now,
Yeah.
so.
How many do you have?
5 or 6.
Good gosh.
But we're not, no, all of them aren't, some of them are old ones, it's also be covered, when they break, they break.
I got you.
That's secret information, Judge.
Sorry.
Do you want to discuss?
That was all that, I just had questions
Okay,
about that.
so you made a motion,
Yes,
I
sir.
second it.
Jay made a motion, Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to thank the sheriff's department and all the emergency response folks that, what they've done
Yeah.
over the last couple of weeks. We've had a lot of missing persons and y'all done a great job and thank y'all for what y'all do.
Heck, yeah.
We appreciate it. We got a great crew, everybody, sheriff's office, we got some state agencies, fire departments, everybody.
Yeah. Very good.
Was he taking on to the
Just some more
hospital,
additional?
or? Oh, he's
This
still
is
in there?
information. I just wanted to give you guys the information that we received from the Rankin County School District. They are obligated by state law to provide the county each year at this time with an amount of money categorized in 3 different categories: the dollar amount for district maintenance fund, the amount necessary for the payment of bonds, and the amount necessary for the payment of notes. They give us those dollar amounts each year annually, and then it's incumbent upon your staff, in conjunction with the tax assessor, to determine what is the amount of millage that must be levied for the fulfilling of the request as it relates to the amount of money that has been asked. I wanted to give you the dollar amounts in each of those categories that we received from the school district for last year compared to this year, so that you are aware of what the school district has requested. They have requested an increase from last year for the dollar amount necessary to fund the levy associated with district maintenance. They've asked for an increase of just shy of $8 million. Last year, they asked for $80,040,000. We have to do a calculation of what is the amount of school district millage that will fund that. We use 24 data, obviously, to do that. For this year's, this is for FY26, for this year's levy, they are asking for an increase of $8 million, $88,025,000. We will have to correspondingly do a calculation of what the the millage amount associated with the school district mill will be required to fund that. We know that there will be an increase in the levy in order to fund that request. The second item is the payment of bonds. These are school district bonds. That amount last year was $13,798,000. This year is $13,812,500. So it's only a $14,500 increase for the levy for debt service that they require. I doubt that that will be a significant and may not be any increase in the millage on the basis of whatever growth. And it may be that growth will cover that specific item. Just wanted to point that out. For the amount necessary for the payment of notes, these are short-term notes. Last year they asked for $5,194,700. This year they're asking for $5,668,000, somewhere in the neighborhood of about $450,000.
What was
Again,
that second?
Sir.
The last number?
$5,668,000. The total request last year was $99,032,700. 99,032,700. This year, the total request is $107,505,500. So we will be doing our calculations and providing for that data to be a part of at the time that you actually levy, which is when you adopt the budget and you adopt your levy. That's when that will happen. Is that gonna happen on September the 2nd? Is that what we're going?
You wanna know the millage?
Yeah, do we know the millage?
1.84.
An increase in school district millage of 1.84.
So that number, those numbers you're giving us a while ago, that's the whole school cost, right?
That's the Rankin County School
Except
District.
Pearl.
Right, but
City of Pearl.
when you said maintenance, that means teachers' salaries and all that
Yes,
stuff.
That's their
Yes.
operations.
Yeah, that's everything. Okay, that's fine, I just wanted to make sure.
Great question. Dr. Cloud, the school district is afforded currently a levy for maintenance. These are all separate categories, and they all have defined levies that are associated with them, and they're kept separate for that purpose. The actual levy that is levied currently, the 24 levy for maintenance of Rankin County School District was 45.25. Okay, so this will increase. Is it going to be just 1.8 on the maintenance side?
That's the net of all three.
That's a net. So roughly, I'm just going to guess and say somewhere in the neighborhood of 1.7, 1.75 probably will be the increase on the maintenance levy.
2.07.
Okay, I've undershot it.
So what is the amount that they can go up without a referendum?
4%.
Well, this is quite more than 4%.
Well, if you do the math, you
4%
do it
of
on the basis of
4
the levy, Jay.
Do what?
If you do it on the basis of the actual levy itself. So this is the way I interpret the statute. It's not the dollar amount, it's the levy amount. So what is the increase in the maintenance
So
to get
what
us
is
there?
that then?
Do we know what that calculation is?
Dollar?
Yeah.
It was 8 mil, it's around 8 million on the maintenance.
Yeah.
Most of, because we had got a decrease in that.
And is this, why they having to go up is because of the, new formula that the state adopted?
1.6%.
Is it?
That's what I can.
So it looks like it's an increase of 4.6%. What that does, Jay, is it triggers a responsibility and a requirement on the school district to publish a notice in the paper, which they've done, which calls for the potential for a petition to be filed, organized and filed, signed by the requisite number. It's a reverse referendum is what it is. And so they called for that, and they had their public meeting, I want to say, right at the end of June. And there was no, to my knowledge, no petition was filed. They've satisfied the responsibility. If the increase is between 4% and 7%, there is the possibility of a reverse referendum. That did not occur, and so now they are eligible to proceed.
But what would trigger it is somebody come in and contest it.
That's correct.
And that didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
Okay.
So 7% is the mandatory, then you have to have a referendum.
If they had exceeded that, it goes to a secondary provision under the statute that I haven't even looked at because
Okay.
it didn't happen. But I think in that case, there actually has to be a called referendum and an actual election. If they go above the 7%.
Yeah.
But the reason, what's the reason for them going up is because of the new formula?
Yeah,
with the
so,
state?
so there's some weird stuff that's happened at the state level that applies only to specific districts where funding amounts from the state is, well, everything that we've just been talking about is local taxpayer support of the school system. That is not the only source of revenue that they have. This is the local taxpayer support of the school system. Okay, so their actual budget, Brad, is approaching $300 million. So the local taxpayers are supporting about a third of the actual budget, maybe 40%. The rest of their money comes from the state through MAEP and from the federal government. That's where the total amount of their funding comes from. So what we're talking about here is just the local dollars. You are correct in that what the state has done with MAEP and specifically how that impacts the Rankin County School District has now been visited down to the local taxpayer to make up the difference. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Y'all, we just want to make sure you had that information.
Yep.
And that if there was an intention on your part to let folks know about it, that you had some information to work from. If we need to do something on the admin side of the house to get the word out, please let us know. But otherwise, this is gonna kind of be official as of September 2.
But it's happening whether we want to or not. That's right.
We have no
Again,
choice.
That's right, that's right.
The statute's clear.
That's what I thought.
The word shall.
You can fund it this year or you can fund it next year.
Oh, right, sure, it's fine, that's all I need.
Okay. Any questions?
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
There's a need.
Yeah,
for executive.
absolutely, absolutely, we do. I've got,
I make a motion, discuss the need for executive session.
Second.
Jay made a motion, discuss the need for executive session. Steve seconded that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So I make a motion, go to executive session for,
we're gonna trigger 25-41-7. Subparagraphs B, G, and J. B is litigation, potential litigation. G is acquisition, potential acquisition of property. J is the locating of businesses and/or industry. Okay. So we'll be in for each of those three bases.
did you do personnel?
You got a personnel issue.
All right.
All right. Jay made the motion, I'll second it.
Jay made the motion. Steve seconded that motion.
For those purposes.
For those purposes. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.